Hello, everyone. This is Kev, and this is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Hope everyone had a good Saturday. Day was long, I would say, uh, but we are still here. So, I don't know. You ever seen a bunch of weak shit? Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. Um, the another topic is the when it's black is whack mentality. And when I always speak on this platform, I always speak in regards to our people. When I say our people, I mean black people, melanated, things of that nature. I didn't. I always have been adamant about telling people that I don't care about other groups. I care about how we are. I care about how we conduct ourselves. So when I speak to, into this platform, that is the intent. So, uh, all right. Shout out to the Hood Conservative and shout out to listening. Um, I don't know. So I was watching earlier. I was watching my feed earlier, and I came across information like this YouTuber was reporting on this other YouTuber committing suicide, and that's always a there's always a sad thing for a senseless loss of life, whether it comes by way of accident and it or comes by way of being caught up in something that you can't control or self-inflicted. You never, ever, ever like hearing anything about that. I remember weeks ago, there was this brother named Force Windu that he died due to unfortunate circumstances, and he was a part of this space, and several sent their condolences, and we still give him an occasional shout out. Now the uh, from the way it appears, there's another YouTuber who committed suicide, as reported by this YouTuber. And this YouTuber that committed suicide apparently was claiming MGTOW and had a lot to say, like red pillish, red pill rage, as it's called. Calling himself a feminist killer, stuff like that. To me, honestly, when it comes to the fragility of life, I mean, if he just wasn't out here just like slapping people upside their head and, just kicking babies and, snatching purses from old ladies and such, then if he's not out here doing this, then I'm going to continue to be like, okay, there's some messed up people out here saying some messed up stuff, and bad things don't always happen to them. Not like they deserve it. I would never wish anybody any harm or such just because they said something I didn't agree with. But, we live in a pretend rage, fake outrage world nowadays where it's full of uh, fake attitudes and virtue signaling and, trying to call ourselves slaying evil or whatever the case may be. Um, didn't make any sense to use a young man who wasn't exactly mentally together, because when you commit suicide, it takes it is that's the person that that has decided for themselves that their journey has ended. That's a reality. That's reality right there. That's the reality of the whole thing. But to and I understand what people have a tendency to do. They need to be controversial. They need to get their point across any way they can. Some people can't use things such as raw talent and ability to get their point across. They have to use controversy, shock value, anything they can. Now, my first knee jerk reaction was to come up here tonight and call out three names and try to shame those individual uh, YouTubers, because you can't really call a person like that a content creator. I mean, no, that's a knock. I'm not gonna say no knock. That's a knock. But why give pieces of trash that kind of spotlight in the first place by mentioning their names? That would be giving them power on my platform. My platform, of course, on an even bigger platform that I do not own, that none of us own, besides some unseen entity that might appear in a tech magazine every now and again. Uh, yes, I don't. I would never want that kind of energy on this platform where I had to feel like that I had to get so desperate that I'm willing to use tactics such as using a suicide, exploiting a suicide, exploiting a suicide to shame a group of men because they said some stuff you don't agree with. Grow up, niggas. If I feel like saying their names, I might say it throughout the broadcast. That's not a real tease. That's not anything that is supposed to keep an audience roped in or anything for suspense purposes. It's just like tell you the honest truth. I just woke up from a nap. See what I did there? But see, some people need that because they can't make any other content that people will watch. I mean, whatever your creative side came up with, and maybe you know people didn't respond to it well. Being able to come up with original content and original topics that doesn't have a fucking thing to do with talking about a motherfucker, but using raw talent to rope your audience in. That's what I wanted to do when I came up here, to YouTube from Facebook. Yeah, and by the way, a lot of you out there getting just like those people on Facebook, low vibrational. Just say any goddamn thing and think it'll stick, because there's morons out there just validating you, faceless morons all over the place, validating the stupidity of others, and it's an ongoing cycle. Everybody's coming up with their reasoning or their pocket realities when they go into discussions with uh, people who try to have a discussion with other folks that look like them. They think that things are going to turn out great, but they don't. Because on the other side, and let me just be as frank as possible, you got a stupid ass nigga. You know, stupid ass niggas that use suicide as a way of shaming a group of men just because that group of men, or them individually within that group, are saying things that certain people don't agree with, and it touches feelings. It was a bunch, and and uh I found these videos. Like I look on my feed. It's like I got a lot of black channels that come to my feed. If you type in manosphere and you watch a couple of the pro manosphere, anti manosphere, I see more anti manosphere than anything. Anti manosphere seems to be the thing for content creators that can't find anything else to talk about. Uh, uh, Man, whatever however y'all feel about that one. I mean, there's a lot of KS hate videos out here, and when you look at those channels and you look at some of their other content, a lot of those people can't don't a lot of those people, they don't get views on their other videos, but their anti-manosphere videos is like a traveling circus of people who keep bitching and crying because their unwillingness to face facts. And I mean, like, and it's you'll be surprised at who you see in the chats. And I'm not saying that people should like, oh, I don't want to be the YouTuber that says that you should not be watching certain people. I'm not saying that. I think you should watch who you want to watch. You should be seen where you want to be seen, and you should be able to represent whatever viewpoint you want to represent. Honestly, but I'm glad people are able to reveal themselves like that. There's people who, if you support the anti-manosphere movement, I'm going to start believing that you support lies, you support slander, you support very stupid gaslighting, you support all of that stuff. Because all I keep hearing is like, there's one guy that just keeps saying, I mean, he's a bigger guy. He's exponentially bigger than I am as far as YouTube channel sizes. That says that this group of men, as he says, that are those guys. He refers to those guys down the street. Say that those guys celebrate pedophilia and child molestation. Straight up, call them bitter, angry old men. Yeah, I like the old part. I like the old part because honestly, in theory, a lot of us are a little old to be coming up here and talking the way we talk. I mean, it's 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 a very sad truth that a lot of us don't want to realize. They come in here and thinking that shaming some people that you're not actually talking directly to is going to be very effective. It's just, oh boy. I mean, it made my stomach turn, literally. It made my stomach. I didn't even know who this. For those of you who don't know, it's a YouTuber named Renegade One, Renegade number one. He committed suicide. No one in this space knew who that kid was. No one. I knew about him today, and now I'm seeing videos pop up about his suicide and how it's the black manosphere's fault. And the rhetoric of the black manosphere did it. Absalom Payanki, shout out. Yeah, hood conservative, right? Never knew him before today, man. But Really, the saddest part about all of that is that's really disrespectful to his family. It really is. It's disrespectful to his family to use the young man's death like that, and it's very low. No one, no one should care what you say after you exploit like that. After you use someone's death like that, no one should have to care. In a perfect world, no one should care. But this is not a perfect world. There's still going to be a band of idiots that's going to listen to these people continue to use stuff like this. And instead of as a teachable moment to shame a group of men. So, yes, Absalom Pianki. My condolences to the family of Renegade Number One. Like they're dealing with something very earth shattering right now that have changed their lives forever. And it should be used as a message, brother. Stay strong. Something, if something is going on with you, and it's like if you feel like the walls are closing in, I mean, just find somebody to talk to. Really, I put my email address up. I think my email address is in the description. I'll put it in the chat. Just talk to somebody, man, before you make a decision that you can't take back. And that's not just suicide. It's a bunch of things that you can do that would just that is you can go off the deep end because you have no one to talk to. And I do admit a lot of these men come to these spaces because there was never anyone to talk to. But but that's being gaslighted against those guys. And what's being said is by that YouTuber that brought it over in this space is that he killed himself because he wasn't getting any pussy and he was upset. Like I said, just as a way of shaming men for wanting to talk about issues along with certain females about the black relationship mending, I would say the mending the damage done to the black relationship and the black family. To people like that, it translates as whining, crying. What their message, the haters, their message translates to me as I can't stay relevant enough. I see others starting to make a come up into space that are doing quite well for themselves. Congratulations to the smaller guys that are coming up and audiences are growing and becoming bigger. I'm always going to congratulate people for that. Even if your message is a little stinky, but I'm not going to I'm going to not congratulate people who exploit suicide and death and whatever. People who have to lie. Liars. Liars, slanderers, just pieces of trash. How dare you use that young man's death like that? No one cares what you have to say. I mean, the only reason why I care is because I feel like black people are supposed to be better than that. Whether you want to believe it or not, we are better than that as a people. It's not a teachable moment when you want to exploit someone's death just because you don't agree with the opinions being shared. See, people like that never tell you what exactly is being said. They'll make little blanket statements. They're broke and they want submission from women. They're mad because they didn't get any pussy in high school. Why does it always have to boil down to fucking high school? Getting pussy in high school now, and if that's spoken of in any other context, guess what y'all start saying? Y'all got minds of pedophiles and rapists and child molesters. Like it'll be flipped back. I don't know why haters have such a vivid imagination when it comes to like funky ass shit like that. But everybody's so high and mighty when they come to these platforms. Like they just love people so much that shaming folks for shit that doesn't exist is the way to go. Who are all these people that are celebrating child molestation and pedophilia and rape? Who? What YouTuber? What YouTuber in this space? The Black Manosphere? You know, the one where the little boy from Idaho made the little list, and they sat on this guy that calls himself a bad guy's channel and cried for about 3 or 4 hours about it when it first happened. And yes, the guy that brought the suicide to this space was on that broadcast, crying with the rest of them. Cry, cry, cry. Yes, CRY. Niggas needing fucking therapy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because y'all say that like we're the ones that need therapy just because we call ourselves Black Manosphere over here. You niggas need therapy. They've been crying week in and week out. I ain't never seen so many anti so-called, we don't like the Black Manosphere, we're not a part of them niggas, but you're always putting the words Black Manosphere or Manosphere in your titles because you ain't got nothing else going. Like dudes are getting shine. Dudes are bringing their talents, their abilities, their knowledge. And y'all keep coming up with this bullshit. It's a gender war space. They hate women. It's so misogynistic over there. Those guys are losers. They're old. Yet when someone says something about it, they're being sensitive. They're triggered. Them niggas in their feelings. A lot of our people want to insult people for free. There's no price to it. Let me say what I want to say. And if you say something, I'm going to run away. I want to throw rocks and hide my hand. No, this is not how things should be working. No. Have some motherfucking guts. I don't get y'all. I seriously don't. I don't get y'all. Y'all get you. Some of you out here are getting angry because it's being called for exactly what it is. It's a bunch of black men whose messages are getting out there, and y'all mad just because it's black men. Yeah, that's the truth. You're mad just because it's a bunch of black men. Y'all don't like black male leadership. Y'all want everything to stay ratchet. Stay gangster, stay thugs. Y'all ain't no real niggas. Fuck you. I don't know, between so-called self-proclaimed hood people, little hating ass, bitter ass, traveling circus motherfuckers. Like I've been seeing, like it's the same folks in all these chats pushing this damn dialogue. Oh, the Black Manosphere is nothing but broken men. Oh my god, and then don't want to debate with any of them. Not a sensible one, at least. It's them motherfuckers. Yeah, it's people who say that participate in this space and then want to go over there and start saying little sneaky comments and shit. Like I told y'all in another broadcast, I think I be on YouTube a little bit too much because I see all this stuff. I mean, but understand this. It's not like it takes all day to see that kind of thing. It takes just a glance in just like a few minutes. Because all the keywords you type in is going to combine up in your feed. That's how I'm finding all these little. I want to cry about the Manosphere broadcast, and it's like, it's like crack. It's cracking that hate because it's not like one broadcast. It's not like two broadcasts on a certain person's channel. on an individual channel rather, because this is several guys. And then you look at their other videos, they don't have great views. The only reason why I ran like this because suicide was used. That shit ain't normal. That shit's weird. That reeks of desperation. Then y'all worship like these white guys that you know. I guess the other side of the manosphere, and they talk more shit than the black ones do. But because white is all right. D. Clark. Hey Kev, why do they link the manosphere with negativity like Miko worldwide in this situation? Why none of the positives? Because there are guys that are in this space that are gaining traction with their YouTube channels. They feel like that it's supposed to be them instead of the guys that they see gaining traction, and they're upset. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's all. That's what it is. They can't accept that, hey, you know what? Some people are just more talented than others. And I mean, like, that's saying I'm in that same scope. I'm not, I don't think I'm the outlier. I, I think that I am one of the better channels to watch personally. But is some people are just plain upset. They need drama. They need someone to fight. They want the attention. That's why they keep saying manosphere, 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 manosphere. They want somebody from the space of the black manosphere. And I'm not counting them niggas that love to, do little sneak disses and such. I mean, it's not for me to say who's in the space and who's not in the space, because the people who are hating are the ones that felt like they should have been the ones that have to say so of saying who's in the space and who's not in the space, as if such a thing existed. Just because you're not on that list doesn't mean you're not on, that you're not considered a part of the black manosphere. That's not possible. No one was trying to leave anyone out. None of that shit. But it's come to this thing. It's come to this. So um, I'm usually not in the business of apologizing for people, because I don't feel like that my actions should, you know, I don't feel like that I should have to pay for anyone else's action. But, I want to be one of the ones that's saying that, to renegade number one's family, and probably they probably won't hear this, maybe by a small chance, that it is very shameful that your family member's death got used in this way. I left a super chat with another YouTuber. I said, if they have anything to say about you speaking freely as a black man, do it twice as hard. Now I'm suggesting you do it 10 times like a KO can. KO King times 10. Yeah. Speak your truth, brothers. Don't let these whack ass people shame you. I mean, every one of those channels that I go on, and I've been going on quite a few. I mean, some of the names that I see in those chats is disheartening, because you go out of your way to hate the damn whole idea of a black manosphere, because it's a kind of a representation of solidarity, something that none of you Highlander niggas want to see. Yeah, I'm going to use the term Highlander quite more often from now on, because that's what I see, a bunch of Highlander niggas.
Niggas that want to be the HNIC. Dudes who felt like, hey, you know what? Since I was brought in by this guy who got all this clout, I should be in front. Yes, two of them in particular. Excuse me. Got brought in by a bigger guy. And now they're whining and moaning about whatever this particular space has become. What, it was supposed to be only them? Like, I didn't think coming in here as black men being brutally honest that I should be the only representative that advocates for black men. I didn't think that was my responsibility. I just kind of do. I kind of think that black men aren't getting a fair shake in these conversations. And what I observed today, it pretty much shows. I'm going to give a shout out to the village arsonist. Yeah, I listened to several of his videos today, and he has some interesting takes on the black manosphere itself. But he's not anti-black manosphere. He just is objectionable of some of the ways, and you're not. Uh, I could respect his way of saying it. I can respect his way of saying it. Some of you may not like the guy. I don't give a fuck because I form my own opinions. And I'm sure some of y'all trust me a little bit. So we'll just see what happens. Today ain't gonna be like the end all be all for some of us, unfortunately, because that's the circle of life. The Lion King, but been watching too many kid cartoons. But hey, you know what? Having kids would do that. Their child will do that. But um, yeah, that's just how it is. It's rough. It's rough for some of y'all out there, and you're the ones making it rough. It ain't the black manosphere making it rough, because like that's one thing that like a lot of people will say that black people are significantly hurt by the truth. Not all, which is fact. Not all, but some of us, and a lot of us, in a lot of us who wants to do all this little gaslighting bullshit that we do, all this projection. You say it's the black manosphere's problem. It's actually your problem because the obsession is so weird looking to me. Just being on the outside, looking at all these people making all these videos to try to topple a group of men whom they imagine in their heads is exactly what they say they are, with just blanket statements. Mm. Very interesting, our people. This says a lot about who we are. It really does. And it's disgusting. It's disappointing. And it's, in many instances, it's heartbreaking. But, you know, I was told by a person that meant a lot to me that they were raised to believe that men do not have feelings. So we have to be strong 110% of the time, which your average black man can pull off. We get, I will go back to the 90s, we get played for weak by a lot of folks, and we're convinced that it's our fault that people look at it this way, instead of us just saying, hey, you're just being flat out disrespectful. Well, I mean, well, that shit's gonna stop in my presence. At least I'm not gonna tolerate it on this channel. I mean, if y'all want to go to Ratchet Circus, that's your choice. I mean, it's cool. It's cool thinking that you're actually solving problems by using a suicide I mean, just at the end of the day, the shit was fucking foul and tasteless and desperate. That's desperate for attention, desperate for relevancy. And you're going to see a lot of that in 2021, that the way it looks, because shit, the month of March just started. Man, it already felt like it's been like a year and some change already. Last year was weird. The year before that was weird. This year's just weird. Like, and it's only been 2 months. There are just some hateful, foul people out here. I'm kind of glad it's coming out, because when it exposes itself like that, is a chance to solve the problem. It's a chance to talk about it. It's a chance to rationalize how you can avoid being that bullshit ass way. How you can avoid being a loser. Because ultimately, these and I'm not going to push the narratives that they push about people in the quote unquote black manosphere, the people in that space, the people down the street, however they want to refer to it as, because it's always a sneak diss. Because these guys don't have any balls to call an individual out. I mean, one of them do. One of them do, but that nigga's so far gone. He just part of the scene. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. Spaz. I ain't know that now. That's obsession. That is obsession right there. I mean, damn. Why are you on the nuts of these guys? Cause I mean, shit. Don't say nothing about Kev. I mean, you say enough about the other Kev. Like we just like that shit's weird. Like, damn. For someone you're trying to call a homosexual, you're all over that man's dick. And it's like, most of you are. It's like, damn. I can't. It's ridiculous. What's wrong with y'all? At the end of the motherfucking day. Let me do a couple more shout outs. Stoic One, what's going on? OG Lee, making six figures. OG Lee. Let me put this statement up and let me respond to it. Women mad and want to stop men from kicking the truth, because women want their cake and eat it too off men, and things are changing. I agree with that statement, but in this case, the there are three particular YouTubers that are exploiting the suicide, and all three of them are male. I just want to throw that little fact out there. Longo Savage, what's going on? Let's see. Stoic One. Western women cannot generally withstand simple criticisms based solely on the choices they have personally made. 100% correct. I mean, shit. Nobody wants to sugarcoat things with anybody. Why do black men have to sugarcoat things with you? Hey, this is the ball game you wanted to play. We're gonna get mad because some people are doing it. We're not gonna be balanced and fair. Okay, cool. Maybe I should just say all of you. I mean, not all of you. Not nobody. No, all of anything is not. Yeah. Some of y'all are just plain garbage. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Some of y'all are just garbage, and you can say what you want to about my content, but at least I don't. At least I don't obsess with a group of people all the time. So, hey, greetings from John Mazzell, the regulator. All right. I wonder what makes you a regulator. I mean, I'm not saying you don't regulate it. In fact, brother, this is the first time I've seen somebody. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, John. The Logic Sphere, what I miss. There's a YouTuber by the name of Renegade One that committed suicide. Unmentioned YouTuber brings it to this space and uses it as a way of shaming guys for being angry about, I guess, not getting pussy, which I don't know is always the go-to. So okay, so So another YouTuber tries to use it as a message to black men, which I don't give a fuck about anything this fucker has to say, but I just think it's pretty egregious to use a suicide to exploit someone's suicide because you can't get viewership and uh, good content any other way. And I mean, like exploiting the suicide is not good content. So I mean, but I'm disgusted by it, and I think as a people, I mean, well, as a people, we're supposed to be better than that. We're supposed to be better than that. Black to the film, what's going on? Double C, what's good? Y Skinner Man Cave, what's going on? Good to see you back in here. I'm gonna drop the link. And y'all, come up here, state your grievances. Not, whatever. Speak your mind or don't come up here, and I can continue the show. But I just want to tell y'all, it's like if you see something wrong, ain't nothing wrong with speaking out. I mean, you ain't got to say names. I mean, if you feel like saying names give people power or whatever, that's all good. I mean, I do understand why some people don't say names. They don't. They don't want to. I guess they don't want to give a person clout, which I don't blame them for, because I was going to blast these guys' name all over the place. But what good is it? What good is it to give people that kind of power and attention? All I'm saying is this: if a person thinks I'm talking about them, because I don't consider a person like that a content creator anymore. I mean, it's like I won't ever deny a content creator who actually creates content. I just think that it's like if you're building your channel off just being anti manosphere, then that's pretty much all you are. Because people is like you ain't got to think like me, but people can clearly see that that's the only way you're getting views, and that's on a lot of these channels. Anytime manosphere is in the title, it's views, 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 views. Because is people hate watch. People hate the manosphere. People hate the black manosphere. Some people let the hate affect them in different ways. Like some people will join, some people will be against it. It's like, but I'm not saying by any stretch that anyone has to co-sign with it. They have to beat their chest and start making T-shirts and other stuff like that, and say we are the black manosphere. I'm not saying people should do that, but it's worth a visit if the hate just keeps boiling over like that. I mean, is like okay, there are guys who visit these spaces that are in need of some form of therapy. But so what? If they can get the therapy, who are you to get in the way of that? Who are you to get in the way of saving a life? If it is at all possible, because I know people come to these YouTube spaces and other people think that, well, it's a joke because these guys feel like, oh, they can make a difference through uh, 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 getting a YouTube degree or something like that. And I understand that to an extent. I do. I understand that because some of y'all are some like some of us are some YouTube philosophers, like saying some stuff that won't fly anywhere else, and that's just the truth. I've said some way out things. I just can't think of what those are at the moment. I mean, if you can find them, make a video about it. I don't give a fuck. Shit, I don't care. I would never community strike anyone for making a video that's based on any of this content. But I'm just saying, be prepared. That's my only warning to anyone. And I'm not doing that for clout. I didn't come here seeking clout. In fact, I was kind of when I first came in, I was kind of that guy. Like, I don't need the manosphere. I've been here since 2018. Some of y'all just not learning who I am. Shoot, I came here in 2018, trying to just build a YouTube channel. Let me build a YouTube channel, see what happens. Hey, I did all that shit with that Facebook group. Let me see what I can do when I come to YouTube. And I learned that YouTube is a different beast. It's not as easy to grow a YouTube channel as it is a Facebook group, especially when you name it Black Men Being Brutally Honest with Everyone. It's like that was so easy. It was it was so easy. Just let me just pick a name. Let me see. Let me think. And it caught fire. Oh boy, I tell you the truth though, that shit carried a price. Cortez Smith, what's going on? That shit carried a price, but I think it's just pathetic. I think it's pathetic using someone's death like that, even if it is a suicide. A lot of I know people that they feel certain ways about suicide, like you know people like that. They're at the end of their rope. They gave up on life. I even used to be on that tip, but I had to get off of it because at the end of the day, even if you gave up, you still got a family. A mother, maybe a sister, a father, maybe a son or a daughter. Hell, kids can change the way a person feels for the for the best or the worst. Imagine being a dad that couldn't see his child because the baby mama keeps using the child against the guy because he doesn't want to be with her. That happens. That's not taken into account because the word is watch who you make a child with. And I do believe in that. I do believe in that. But for when the child is already there, it's like, why continue with the bullshit? Why not do what's best for the child? People just don't have that mentality. But as men, I always say throw caution to the wind because you know what situation that you're in. And if you know the consequences, you really can't complain about it when shit happens. I've always been an advocate for that. I'm not sitting up here making excuses for men who pay child support. Even though I feel like the child support system is imbalanced, especially with the narrative, because there's just as many deadbeat moms, if not more, than deadbeat dads. That's not something that I made up. You can look that up yourself. But here's what I keep hearing about guys in the quote unquote black manosphere: a bunch of incels that's not getting any pussy. Then it directly contradicts with the next one: a bunch of guys that are on child support because they made all these kids. Which one is it? Is it incels that don't get any pussy, or guys who have kids that they're complaining about paying child support? Because you went in two totally different directions with it. It's just boom contradiction already. And there's some dumb motherfuckers, and there's some motherfuckers that justify dumb motherfuckers that are dumb motherfuckers themselves. Hmm. We celebrate rape and pedophilia. I'm not letting that one go for shit until that motherfucker backtracks that. And that will require me saying a name, but nope, not yet. I'll give you a clue. It's the same guy that said that we should make Donovan Sharp the leader of the black manosphere because he's light skinned and masculine. Yeah, that's facts. Them facts. I wish I could put together a video package. But you know how motherfuckers are striking niggas for using shit. And I'll make sure that you do it. I mean, I'm going to say it to where that you're going to want to strike me. Boy, boy, boy. Let me put this link in. Let me put this link. Cortez says a bunch of these motherfuckers are insane. Like insane, desperate, just fucking desperate. Oh my god, I'm so desperate. I gotta say something to bring these guys down. And then one thing I can commend guys in this quote unquote black manosphere space is 99% of the time they don't even respond to the ignorance, which could be viewed as they're just like, I mean, I kind of viewed it this way too, afraid to say something. But at the same time, there are guys that's not giving these guys any kind of shine. I really hate, I mean, say what you want to in the chat. Just don't be coming here promoting motherfuckers like that. I mean, unless I say something like, I'll say, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, Onyx Report, good channel. Yeah. If you want to say stuff about T. Hassan Johnson, go ahead. So, um, but like, talk like just generally speaking, like just flooding the chat with that stuff, then, whatever. But I have reasonably intelligent people in this chat. I mean, some yahoos show up every now and again, but I'm just like, I don't know. Man, somebody else beside me should be tired of the bullshit. Now, let me talk about the subject matter. When it's black, it's whack. I know you heard of the saying, when it's all right, when it's all white. Yeah, it derives from that kind of mentality. The white man's ice is always colder. Like I posted a video on my community tab of a Caucasian man that was in the manosphere, the other side of the manosphere, and it was a video of it was entitled "Why I'm Leaving the Manosphere." And when I looked at his videos, he had a pretty good viewership. They're more loyal than we are. I mean, that's just facts. And I was like, wow, from the way we tell it, from the way some of us explain it, they don't have any problems. Not even, and then that's not even so much of a, I would say, manosphere YouTube issue. Those are one of those things that is a mind fuck that is in our community. Like we don't we always think that the white man's ice is always colder. And I mean like, but then we turn around and talk about how bland their food are, or they put raisins in their potato salad and all that other stuff. We are confused as a fucking people. We can't have one day is great, one day is bad, one day is good, one day is not good. Like make up your minds, Dottie.
Yo, what's up, OG, triple OG, double OG, quadruple OG?
Yeah, in some circles, I'm called an old nigga. I just want to let you know that you a old nigga. So yeah, but yeah, I'm talking. I just got on the topic. I just got through uh just talking about how shameful it is to exploit someone's suicide. Um, and one of the guys, I mean, I guess he trying to stay relevant. One of the guys is trying to become relevant, and another guy can't be relevant, can't gain relevance to save his life. It's like a diminished version of the Three Little Pigs.
Well,
It's
let me ask you this, because I'm here, I'm watching the fight tonight, so I'm actually
Yeah.
in
Oh yeah.
that I popped
Adesanya.
in.
Yeah. Let me
Oh
know
yeah,
how that goes, man. Because I think Adesanya gonna get it. Like
yeah,
Adesanya is scary. Israel Adesanya is fucking scary. Like he keeps evolving as a fighter. Like
yeah.
kind of reminds me like Anderson Silva was quick strike. If you left yourself open for like a split second, Anderson Silva got you. Like
Well,
boom, you
see,
you're going to sleep.
What Anderson Silva was, he was ahead of the game. Anderson Silva had multiple different techniques, multiple different training partners. So dudes was coming on to what he was on for years. He got beat by Luke Rockhold, never really changed the game because that's when it caught up to him. But yeah, no, most definitely I'm gonna give you the info. I'm gonna let you know what happened. In addition to that, so let me ask you on this topic tonight. We mentioned the names. How deep we going in this rabbit hole?
Yeah, the rabbit hole may get deep, but right now I haven't said anyone's name. It is just really it's. Let me put it like this: I probably will eventually say a name or whatever, but then when I say that name, it's going to take the emphasis off the purpose of the broadcast. The purpose of the broadcast is to try to get to the bottom of why this little insanity exists, and it really starts with it really starts as how we have this WS mindset when it comes to accepting black, uh, and
Mm,
it kind of that white man's ice is always colder mentality. Is you got to go through hell or high water to really get some form of credibility as a black man when you say things like this, like
mm.
and no matter what, the goalpost is always going to be moved.
Okay.
The goalpost is always going to be moved. If you okay, guy don't have money, they're gonna call him broke. If he has money, it's going to be something else. If it's not something else, it's going to be something else. It'll probably be a question. His sexuality will probably come into question. If it's not his sexuality, it's how many relationships he's been in. If it's not how many relationships he's been in, it's the tone of his skin or whatever. If he light skin or dark skin, it's never ending. It's never ending. And then when it gets desperate enough, lies, slander, and exploitation, like I observed today. It's like, one of the guy who can't be relevant to save his life, was asking black men in the black manosphere space, were we going to say anything about it, or were we going to give it any kind of attention, when none of us knew who this guy was. None of
Well,
us.
let me say this. So you're not. I'll break when you break, right? And I don't say this person's name out of fear. I say this person's name. I don't say this person's name, should I say, out of respect for your panel. So I'll let you be the one to decide, because some people don't want to give them relevancy and whatnot. But this particular person, if it's the one I'm thinking of, and it's the one that can't save his life to get relevant, right? He can't. Whatever he does, he just can't seem to get relevant. This is an individual who has been on multiple panels, who's told fictitious stories about fictitious sob stories about things that are tearjerker situations in order to get relevancy. It didn't work. This is a person who told you to invest and do XYZ in order to make yourself successful like he is, and he lives at his mama's house, right? So this is an individual um, who is a bottom tier nigga in every aspect. He gets a check every month. The check is not a little check. So, shout out to that nigga for at least gaming the system to make a decent check that he gets, right? But he gets on YouTube more than a few times a day and tells niggas obscene things in order to seem like a leader. I said that in my first interaction with him. This nigga is using this young man's death. And by the way, if any of his family is listening, my condolences to you and your family for the loss that occurred. But basically, niggas are using this death, this suicide, as a way to get an in, and it's pretty fucking pathetic. Niggas is talking about this like we don't have mental health issues in the black community. Like we don't have problems in the black community. Black men are getting hit with child support. You think that don't want to make people want to commit suicide? Black men are being shut out of job opportunities. You think that don't want to make you commit child support? Black men are being charged for crimes that they didn't commit and given heavy fines that impact the rest of their life. You don't think that makes you want to commit suicide? We, as black people, already have two steps behind the average other minority. And then the average other minority has about 5 steps behind the average white supremacist. That alone is enough to make you say, shit, some people just ain't strong enough, right? But I think it's pretty pathetic when you have this dynamic of people attention seeking and using this man's death as a way to gain um, likes, video subscribers, video views, and everything else. You brought this man up for no other reason than to bash the manosphere, which you couldn't even be considered a part of. And there's some motherfuckers who are considered a part of, and they're doing it just for views, which is pathetic on that end. But this is sad. This is a situation where we should be talking about, hey, listen, why did this man kill himself? What can we do to prevent that? What can we do? Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? If you're in this city and there's other motherfuckers who feel like this, who is able to reach out? Um, we should be getting a circle going, right? To where any black man who's in a bad position can reach out to the next black man who's a part of the manosphere, right? Whether you are a content creator, subscriber, occasional commenter. And we should be able to talk about this because you know what? It's strength in numbers at this point. But I'm gonna go ahead and shut up and let you back with the mic, Kev.
Speak, brother. I mean, but I get everything you're saying, and I kind of said some of this stuff already. That that if a lot of black men grew up in their lives feeling like they have nowhere to go, that they have no one to talk to, and I'm not going to even lie to you guys. There's a lot of men that do come to this space looking for answers. Just like, yes, there are females that come to this space looking for answers. But that's a different. They're looking for different answers. Uh, it's just that we know that we live in a system where our mental health is not visited at all. Is like a lot of guys who do have problems with mental health end up doing crazy things. And I'm not making an excuse for, criminals and killers and rapists and such that have mental health issues, because I feel like once you cross that line, then there's nothing else that I can say for you that you're not redeemable. But a lot of it could be prevented, whether people want to believe it or not, if there was a serious visit to that, to mental health. But like you said, like the implication that I'm making is that when it's other races, it's mental health. When it's black people, it's we're criminals. We're genetically predisposed to just being violent, and we're stupid. And it doesn't have anything to do with any possible mental health issues that some people may have. And we're not helping as a people ourselves because we make fun of stuff like that. We don't know why a person feels the way they feel. I mean, for whatever reason that they come up to these platforms, that there may be an underlying issue or something like that. That doesn't mean that everyone that tells a truth that you don't like, that is based on actual fact, has a mental health issue, because that's one of these little gaslighting techniques that y'all like to use. Like, oh, he has mental health issues. Why don't he get help? Why don't he seek therapy? Maybe a brother is just venting sometimes. Venting doesn't require a shrink. So, doesn't require a psychiatrist. Sometimes people just need to vent. What's wrong with that? Black men, yeah, I'm sorry, if you're a black man in Western culture, you got a lot to vent about, whether you want to believe that shit or not. I mean, you can say you're easygoing and you're positive, but it always melts down. Let me give you an example. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is always one of those old bleeding heart positive guys, but he has his moments too. I'm not saying it's not possible to be a completely positive person that just concentrates on positive things and everything is just okily dokily and all that other stuff. I'm not saying that's not possible. It's not a realistic thing for me. You know, I don't search to be mad or to be angry for nothing. I don't search to be bitter. But any black man that is it has any pride about himself should have the intestinal fortitude to call out a problem that they see. To me, that's a part of leadership, showing that you care, not to use it as a shaming piece. But yeah, if you like I say, if you are a man with a daughter, and you don't even have to have a daughter to be able to say stuff like this, you shouldn't want to you shouldn't want to see a bunch of girls going around getting pregnant as teenagers. I mean, you shouldn't. You shouldn't want to see boys just like give it up on life at age 12 and decide to go into a life of selling drugs and robbing folks. I mean, you shouldn't. You shouldn't want to see that. And calling that shit out doesn't mean that you hate your people. Shout out to Long Tong Son and infantry skills. It's been a while, infantry skills. 1,800 black abortions a day. Ugh. Wow. Shit. You shouldn't. I don't know. Who am I? Who am I? I always look at myself that way. Who am I at the end of the day? Who am I to say what's right and what's wrong? Who am I to say that it isn't right to use a person's suicide? It is it, but it isn't. But it isn't. I mean, shit. I mean, you hear it in a lot of what these people say. You can tell when a person isn't being genuine because they'll mention the incident and then they'll go back into the same usual shaming bullshit. You guys are broken. Like, what kind of shit is that to say to anyone? What if a person was broken? Not to say that that people in the manosphere are broken or anything like that. There's some broken people in all aspects of life. Obviously, if you do commit suicide, then there's something that probably is broken inside of you. That's not a stable minded person. But what if he would have gotten some form of help before he made such a decision? What difference it would have made? Would you have been happy as a black person if he had gotten that help? Because it's impossible for me to believe that many of us would have been happy for him, seeing the reaction that some of us are having, the notions that a lot of us are supporting. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It doesn't compute. I mean, I don't know. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. I feel like that. I feel like that. I should not have to see stuff like that. I mean, but there's only so much I can say about it. If anyone disagrees, I put the link in the chat. If you think it's a good idea to shame folks and use a suicide, what is infantry? Okay, Long Tone Son, what's going on? Another issue we have is making a damn joke of everything. All serious issues are joked about to avoid dealing with the problem. Hey Donnie, remember remember they had this meme a couple years ago. It was like it said, uh, "Niggas a joke about everything. If there was a meteor on the way to destroy the Earth, niggas are supposed to meme like this." And then it was like a picture of a meteor, and the Earth had a crying Jordan face on it.
Yeah, but you see that in itself is a problem, right? That's uh, a throwback from slavery. You didn't have shit, you couldn't have shit. Motherfuckers didn't give you shit. So what you got left? You could at least joke about the shit. You could at least make a couple of cracks. And that's what I've noticed a lot of times with black people. When shit is really bad and really fucked up. Hell, I even do it. Motherfuckers will laugh. Because what else you got? It eases the pain.
Yeah, yeah. I guess like when you joke about slavery. I guess it's kind of the same thing. But if there was an existing slave that saw people joking about slavery, then that person might see it differently. Yeah, everything. We some of us do kind of. Yeah, we do kind of. Yeah, feel like everything is a joke, and it may be how you said. This is probably the only way some of us can deal with the pain and the sadness is a joke about it. But I think that he was saying it from an insensitivity standpoint. You know, just yeah. What kind of conversation? Oh, shout out to Sir Anthony. What's going on? Yeah, and the topic for tonight is the when it's black, it's whack mentality. You can easily apply that to black men and how we are viewed in social media just by all of the broadcast content that's being made. That and it always comes from like this one brother might have said something instead of holding the individual accountable, which in some cases is calling out names. Um, will start making blanket statements like black men or anything just I guess to create an error about it. Donnie, what is the what is the okay,
I'm here.
what is the what is the prison stat? Like you ever heard the little prison stat thing? Um that 90% of the prison population comes from uh a certain demographic of homes.
Yeah, something like 90% of
Ninety
people that
percent.
are incarcerated come from single mother homes, and
Yeah,
and realistically, it's more so than that. There's a bunch of stats you can look up, but basically, when it comes to single mother homes, they are higher at risk for every negative attribute that you can think of: molestation, committing crimes, failing in school, learning disabilities in general. It's just anything negative that is where it's at.
uh, okay. All right, BGS, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How long have you been listening?
About 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Oh, okay. So, have you observed any of the things that I thought that I was talking about today?
Um, I mean, what you're talking about is just constant. And the biggest thing is that this whole society doesn't like black men holding up a mirror because black men aren't supposed to have an individual voice.
Right.
And that's the problem. And so they'll use anything. It's whether it's shaming or somebody commits suicide. They call us incels. Incels did not start in the black, in the black community. In fact,
Sure did.
I'm one of the few people. I'm one of the few people that said when it first started on the MGTOW side about incels, which they used to call them true force loneliness, right? Yeah, that's what they
What do
used
they
to call.
call it?
They used to call themselves true force loneliness. In other words, white guys that were so either socially awkward or so out of place that no woman would want them. They used to call themselves true force loneliness, and then they changed their name to incels. The incel community maybe 3-4 years ago. So they changed the name, and
So let me ask you this.
uh huh.
There was at one point in time there was a white dude who made a bunch of videos, and he's considered a saint at this point, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not familiar with his name.
Which you got okay. Well, there's a whole bunch of dudes,
Well,
white dudes. I
this
mean,
particular
which
white boy made the video, and then he went and shot up a sorority, and he was mad because this white girl was talking to a black man over him, and then he
oh,
went and shot up the
are
school.
you talking about you talking about in L.A. What's his name?
Yeah.
Uh, in fact, he was upper middle class. In fact, his father was an assistant director, so he's very upper middle
Right.
class. He also had Asperger's, so he couldn't connect.
Oh.
He had
Okay.
severe Asperger's, and he could not because his friends would try to get him to go out and talk to other people, talk to girls, but he couldn't. And
Yeah, he
and
just couldn't
he
connect
was
the dots.
he was already on medication, but he stopped taking the medication, was prescribed, started taking other stuff. which made it worse. Okay, and in fact, his father and his father and his stepmother were actually on the freeway trying to go get him when he decided to go on a rampage. I think it's Elliot Rogers. I think the name was. Where he wanted to shoot up a store. He actually killed his roommates first. So if that's the one you're talking about.
I know he killed his roommates, but I know he shot up the school. So okay.
He didn't get to the school. He never got to the
He
school.
didn't get to the school. Okay.
He didn't get that far. He stopped at a sorority house, but
okay.
he didn't
Well,
get to
yeah,
the school.
I consider the soror house part of the school. Even though it's not.
No, it wasn't on campus. No, he never got to the campus. In fact, his parents were calling the Santa Barbara police saying, "Hey, he's off his meds. He's making serious threats, and we're trying to come get him. Can you go by and check on him and see what he's?" Because he would have killed more if his parents had alerted him. He already had serious problems, so it wasn't like, and he wasn't manosphere. He wasn't pickup artist. He wasn't man. In fact, he was anti. He was anti red pill.
Oh, one more time for the people in the back. He was what?
Anti red pill. In fact, he was part of a group called PUA Hate. In other words, they hate pickup artists.
So, do we start saying that pickup artists are incels that are mad because they didn't get any pussy in high school, and that's why they go on these massacres, and that's why they kill themselves? Do we start generalizing them like that?
You didn't. Basically, it didn't start. It really didn't start because, for the most part, the incel community is really not part of the red pill community. They've been trying to. Them and the transgenders have been trying to get be part of the red pill community for like 7 or 8 years. And even the MGTOWs are saying, we understand your problems, but we don't have those problems. So basically they went off and formed their own group. They're really not part of the red pill group. Actually, that's how come they adopted what they call the black pill, which is untrue. Basically, what incels are failed, what we call failed blue pillars. Cause actually, I was just listening. I actually talked to a couple. Actually, listened to one of the main incel guys, right? And I basically asked him, I said, "What is it that you guys really want?" I said, "Because if it's just about having sex, I mean, get on a plane, go to the corner, and pay for it. If you really want it that bad, and you don't think anybody's going to want you, it's readily available." Okay, and I said in America, that kind of stuff is readily available if that's what you really want. So, what they really want is, what Rollo Tomasi called genuine desire. They want a woman to be in love with them. That's what they really want. They want a woman that meets their standards to be in love with them, and they can live the 2.5 children with the picket fence and that kind of stuff. That's the kind of life that they really want. And if they can't.
A woman that would sniff your dirty drawers, and still kiss you in the face.
And if they can't get that, then they rather go without. So really, they're not involuntarily celibate for the most part. It's actually voluntary. But the thing is but they call themselves incels. So they're not really red pill. They're what I call failed blue pill, because they can't get they can't get the blue pill dream that they want.
That low key hurt me. He said a failed.
Blue pill.
The thing is that the thing is that people think that the red pill community have a problem with blue pill people. They don't. Okay, they don't. The thing is that blue pill people have a problem with red pill folks. Because if and I've done it many times. If a guy comes into a red pill conversation and he's married and he's happily married, I say, "Man, why are you here? If you're happy with your life, what are you over here? Because you don't have the same issues that the brothers in here have. At least you don't appear to. And if you ingest some of this truth, you're gonna start looking at your wife differently. You are, because it's true. You're gonna see it. So in other words, if you're happily married and you like your life, ignore some truths you need to ignore. Okay, it's true, but the thing is, I don't need to emphasize it. I don't even need to see it because my life is running right. That's what I tell them. Why come over here and ruin? If you have a nice, happy life with your 2.5 kids and your wife is, acting right, and you've been married 30 years, why are you over here?
Okay, I was gonna say something, but you said married 30 years, so I can back off from it.
I'm not. What I'm saying. What I'm saying that there are married people that are in here for a specific reason, but they can handle it. Okay, they can handle it. But I've seen some
Yeah,
guys
I
that are
mean,
married turn ugly because I don't like what you're saying. I said, well, dude,
they,
why are you here?
even though I don't consider myself red pill or anything for that dynamic, I'm told,
Yeah.
I have a lot of that mentality, but that's because I've seen the evil that women do. So before I got into the situation I got into,
Mm-hmm.
I was very well aware of the shit women do. So when I chose my wife, I was very selective. I did my due diligence, and I don't have the problems that a lot of niggas have. So I can speak on this situation because not too long ago I was single out moving, and I realized a lot of these women just don't fucking qualify. So I tell a lot of dudes, you can't put up with the bullshit that you want to. You still go out and get married because I don't think men in general are just against marriage, right? If it
Mm-hmm.
works, it works. The problem is men are marrying. Uh, what's the word we want to use today? They're marrying whores.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That society promotes, and continues to promote whoredom. It is what it is. And that's not even the sexual freedom and but you might have to even change the idea of definition of what a whore is, because now it's so regulated that they want women to go out and sow their wild oats just like men do and encourage it. So damn the backlash. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, but they want that without the accountability, though.
It doesn't matter. The accountability is going to. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, reality doesn't care. You're gonna face it. That's how come you have, you know, people going to the other Kevin's channel crying at 35, 36 because throwing away like 90% of your fertility. And because you wanted to, hop from person to person to person, you know, and the whole consequences of you not being able to bond and all that kind of stuff that comes along with it, because your body's not built for that. Your body is built to bond to you and your children. And that's the issue. You can't. How you gonna be a mother and you don't have any more bonding hormones? You're not gonna care about your kids or any man that you're with, and that's a fact. That's scientific. Every woman should read The Alchemy of Love and Lust by Teresa Crenshaw, because she studied under Masters and Johnson's for for 20 some odd years before she actually started going her own practice and wrote a book. And she says she names all the different hormones and chemicals that women have and what they go through and how it comes about. And basically, the women are built to bond because there's two times women will those bonding hormones will be released: orgasm and childbirth. And the childbirth is the strongest time that a woman's going to release bonding hormones. But if she's got a resistance and immunity to bonding hormones because she done went with 100 guys, that's what she's gonna feel about her children. She won't be able to
She in the
bond to them.
streets. Now let me
She
ask you
won't
this
be.
question.
Uh-huh.
So I've met women who had kids early on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, based on what I know about these women, that they didn't have a whole lot of sex prior to having these kids, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
bonding hormone was there, right? This
Mm-hmm.
one particular woman I know was with this dude, had a baby. I think it's 17.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give a fuck about this child whatsoever. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, can we? I mean, she must have had enough bonding hormone, but I really just feel like oftentimes these chicks just don't even give a fuck from start.
No,
A lot of
well,
them.
the thing, she might have, and we don't really know her history. She could have started 12. But the thing is that after she had the baby, did she stop?
Did she stop fucking?
Yeah. She
No,
started
that's
go
when it
from
got
guy to
bad.
guy. Huh?
After the baby, that's when it got bad.
In other words, we basically, okay. Say in fact, that's what they call it, chasing the dragon, right? It's what drug users call it. That first high, and you constantly chasing that first high. So basically, what
Mm-hmm.
do they say? To get that first high, you got to use more and more of the drug to get that first high, right?
Mm,
So if she got evidently she got the first high from her first dude, and she had a baby by him. Okay, and when
right.
her and that dude failed, and then so did she try to catch the next high with the next dude and the next and the next and the next. What happens when it goes down the line and she keeps going from dude to dude to dude? 5 years later, what's going to happen? She's going to build up a resistance to the hormone.
Even with the child she's already had. So basically
Even
what
with the
you're
child she
saying
won't have.
is, yeah, so she's already got the kid, but the bonding hormone just ain't really just putting it. So
Yeah,
she see the kid, she see the kid as a bond. I'm sorry, not a bird, bondage, but a burden.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. Especially if you're 17, a single mother, and you don't have any help. Single parenthood is, even though black women preach this stuff, is especially in an urban environment, it's not healthy. Okay, back down south, and when you had a larger extended family, it wasn't as bad. But the thing is, in an urban community where you don't have it, you're on your own.
Yeah, like with this particular girl, she's a Long Beach hood rat. So basically, she had the baby. I was dating her, and this is what really put me on game in terms of how these mothers operate.
Talking about Long Beach, California.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
North Long Beach.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
So yeah, this put me on game because she was abandoning her kid at every instance she could, and I was like, you the mother, so what's going on? Because the kid don't even live with her. That's what really would kill me. I was like, your daughter don't live with you? Nah, she live with the dad. Okay, well, what's the situation with the dad? The dad lived with his mama, and the little girl sleep on the couch. Oh, this is crazy. And then the little girl don't go to school, so you don't see this as a problem. She was buying Birkin bags. She was buying, doing her nails, hair, everything. So this is the shit that tricked me out. And this is what really peeped me in the game. I was like, these bitches is evil. And if you don't give a fuck about your own seed, there's no way in hell you give a fuck about me.
Yeah, that's true. She doesn't, because she's never been socialized to care like that. She's not a mother or a wife. She's never been socialized to do it, and that's the issue with her mother. But that's probably why as bad as the father was, the grandma. I'm sure I just about tell you scenarios of what kind of mother that this child had, and he probably told her son, go get your baby. We'll make it work. So as bad as it is, it's probably not as bad as it would be if the child was with her.
Yeah, honestly, I think that if the child was with her, the child would be like, the father just ain't shit. He's a ASN, as I like to call him, ain't shit nigga.
Well, you know what? I said it in my shadow point. People made in their own class.
That's
so
a
in
fact.
other words, they're equally yoked. They're the same kind of people.
So I always said it. I said, as bad as it is with her father, it would be that much worse with the mother, because the mother, she seemed like the type to me that would get the little kid a melatonin, eat a baby at the house, and go over to the side.
She probably would. She probably would, and that's probably what in women as bad as their grandma is, because their grandma raised that son. And women have levels. What I call 85s, they got levels. Okay, at some point I said, okay, she really ain't no good for this kid, and I can't have my grandbaby over there with her, because women recognize that shit. Older women recognize that when there's a certain point where they're gonna cut it off. Say, no, she ain't worth shit. So as bad as it is over here, you go get your kid. And he probably knew that she was gonna let the child go, and she did. Because most black women ain't gonna give up their kid unless they already know they ain't shit, and that woman knows she ain't shit. So any black woman that gives up her kid, there's got to be a reason. Either that father is outstanding and is gonna have a better life, or who knows why she had that kid.
Yeah, well, it was. Now I'm thinking about it. He was he had a. He had a scholarship. That's what it was. He had a scholarship, and the little nigga got shot in the ankle. So that dead the scholarship. So that's game over. So yeah, that's what that was. And a lot of these chicks is scandalous. She was cool to play with, but I wasn't about to be caught up. But I saw that a mile away. I said, you don't give a fuck about your kid again.
If you dip down below a certain level, you're gonna see that a lot, man. That's not uncommon, and it didn't just start yesterday. At a certain level,
That's a
What
fact.
they used to do is chicks like that back down south, they would make sure that she couldn't have any more because they know what kind of woman she was.
Let's run this back. This is new to
They
me. I
would
need
take
to
her
hear
to
this
they
story.
would take her to the doctor, and they would make sure that either tubes are tied, but they would do something where she couldn't carry any more children. She made one
Oh,
mistake,
this
and
is like the
it's
grandmother, the mother, whatever.
they would the community come together. Okay, well, this one is not a mother type, and she's already had one. We'll take this one, but we got to make sure that she doesn't do this again
Well, how
because
did
they
we
see what
get
kind of
this
mother she
back
is.
to rolling? Because I feel like what did they say? The icy pops, the church's chicken used to make motherfuckers sterilize. How do we
Mm.
start sliding this into these women's food and drinks? Because a lot of these bitches don't need kids.
Well, really, if you really look, okay, we're looking at percentages, but if you look at the rate, and I was just looking at it, there's a website I think it was called uh, Family, was it Kid Facts or Family Facts? I can't remember. I was looking at the decline in the population of children between 0 and 18, and white people lose about from 4 to 500,000 kids. In other words, they produce less children as it goes up. So the white people produce 400,000 or 500,000 less children every year. And I think for black people, I think it's like 40,000. So we're not producing more children. Okay, we're actually producing less children every year, even though we have a bigger population. So the women are having less children. So that's not the fact that we need to put something in the food. The population is already declining. So whether it's abortion or infertility or whatever it is, whatever it is that the population is declining. Now the thing is that the percentage of out of wedlock births is going up, but that's around the world, and that's because the government, number one, encourages, and number two, the government supports it. So unless you change the environment, you can't change it. It's not going to be changed, especially amongst the black community, because that kind of mindset is already embedded in our culture. So that's passed down from woman to woman, and so you're not going to change that because that's been like 200 over 200 more than 200 years. America's 245, and this stuff started in this kind of mindset started in Virginia in the 1700s. So this is like over 300 years old because me and Dr. Johnson was just talking about this. The law, the idea that made the black community a matriarchy started in Virginia, and there was I can't remember the actual law escapes me, but the thing is to make sure that black children were born into slavery. But what they did was they basically set the status of the child according to the mother. Okay, only for black people, because in the white community, the status of the child was according to the father. Okay, so they basically made a matriarchy in the United States. So it's something that's been passed down. So as far as a patriarchy, black people have never had a patriarchy, even from its inception. Even they've even tried after the Civil War, because there's a woman, she actually wrote a book called Black Love, Forbidden Black. I think it was Forbidden Black Love, and she was saying that after the Civil War, they had actually tried to force black people into a patriarchy that they didn't have, and it never worked. So what we have is an amalgamation of different ideas uh, that go against the tradition that we've done. We actually practice. We practice this tradition, but the thing is, we try to paper it over. Uh, and like divorce didn't used to happen. People just walked away from it. In fact, when I read it in Frazier's book about the walking divorce, and I said, shit. I said, I had a partner that did that like 3 times. Didn't even file it on paper. Him and his wife just split up, and he went someplace and married another woman, and went to another state, just married another woman, and never got a divorce from his other 2 or 3. So we practice a lot of cultural habits that have been with us for a very long time, if that makes sense. But the thing is that this is this matriarchy that we live. Well, I call it a gynocracy that we live in. It's been around for a long, long time, And as soon as the laws changed where women could practice it, they just started doing it. So this is not unusual. It's really not unusual. And if the women, the women used to kind of sort of enforce this some of these rules, but they stopped. They stopped. That's like when you see Maxine Waters and what's her name, Megan Thee Stallion agree on stuff because that's not new. I wasn't surprised. Everybody else was surprised. I wasn't surprised.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was comedic at best.
I
Maxine
wasn't.
Waters was talking about some. I was with Dr. J back in the day. Dr. J, who the fuck is that? Oh, Dr. Dre. Okay, old bitch, you didn't even know he was with us. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. She's I'm not surprised. That think it's perfectly normal. There's been TikTok videos where they've been talking about WAP. They're singing a WAP song, and you see 90-year-old grandmothers popping their fingers. I know y'all seen it.
And let me tell you something. When I took my daughter to the skating rink for her birthday, they were playing WAP in front of 3-year-olds. I was like, well, and then when you say shit like that, they always bring up the whole, well, you had NWA, you had people like Too Short, you had Two Live Crew, and I'm sitting up there like, look, those guys were facing legal trouble because of their lyrics. Why do people act like they forget this fact just to victimize women further?
Yeah, the Two Live Crew, Uncle Luke really set in front of the nation with his album, right? He's the reason for the explicit label. Uncle Luke really had a fight on his hands for the shit he went through. Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B got a couple harsh words.
Yeah, look at Down the Summer. I Love to Love You Baby back in the 70s.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs, by the way. But I mean, but
that was porn for teenagers back then.
Oh yeah, because things weren't quite as intense as they are now.
No video.
Yeah, but what is what do you think that mentality actually comes from? Does it come from a gynocratic mindset?
Yes.
The old black is whack.
Well, black is whack basically is basically what white folks have thought about us for 200 years. And I always say, why do people think that way, right? And I said, well, why do you believe that? And why do black folks believe that? Number one, you were socialized to believe it, especially down south. Okay. Secondly, how come we can't get away from it? I said, where do you send your kids to go to school? And see, if you send them to a black centered school with all black people, all black teachers to teach a black centered curriculum, they're not going to think that way. But if you send them to the regular standard state sponsored school like everybody else, and I don't care what the faces look like, look at the curriculum, look at what they teach, look at the books that they put in.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to come out thinking?
Yeah. I went to a predominantly black school, and they talked about all these guys who were like slave masters that did brutal things to black people, like they were heroes of the country, and that's the perception we got. So it's like when that's constantly beating into you, you're gonna believe that, and not having a show of great black people which they confined to 1 month, really, that they don't show that to you regularly, then you're gonna believe that they don't exist or they're unicorns.
And your mother's passed that down to you when you were a child, because she wants to go to the white stores and in the white shopping stores and buy all the she wants the nice brand names, the good white brand names. It's passed down as a culture. You live in a white dominated culture, and you're going to think the same way that the culture thinks. People think black culture is opposite white culture, and it's not. And that's the whole thing. It's not. 90% of what you think is white, but we don't want to believe it. Only a few people are aware enough to say this isn't right and this isn't the truth. But what percentage is that? I never saw more than 10%.
It's a very small percentage, and even so, you do have a even larger number of people that will actually fight you for that.
Yes, yeah. Here in the manosphere, you hear people, even our own brethren, fight us for it.
Oh yeah,
Not,
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, which brought some of the conversation up, like using young man suicide to try to shame men into silence.
Well, you know what? You know what? The thing is that what they don't talk about, and I constantly get emails and letters and a lot of content creators do. If you've been around long enough, constantly get a number of people say, you know what? I was on the verge of committing suicide if it wasn't for you in the manosphere. And it's not just me, because I know a brother, we call him Smooth. Okay, Smooth that it was broke. He was under child support, got a divorce, and he was sleeping in his car. And this is for 2 years. And the only thing kept Smooth going is basically listening. He'd be on live. He'd just go from one live stream to the next, one live stream to the next, until she said, "Hey, man, I'm in Atlanta. You know, get away from where you are in Houston, man, and come out here with me, man. I'll get you set up." Okay. But the thing is, Smooth said he was on the verge of committing suicide. So the only thing that kept him going is the live streams of the manosphere. The thing is, I'm not alone, and I'm not crazy, and there is a way out. And all I got to do is make it from one live stream to the next, or one day to the next. Okay. And the thing is, there's lots of stories just like that, man. I hear all the time that I was ready to commit suicide. I was ready to give up. I was ready to hurt somebody. And but we don't broadcast that is because we keep those things private.
Yeah, and we keep things like that private because that information 10 times out of 10 will be used against that person.
Yeah.
And with a person with an already admitted fragile mental state, that's
Hmm.
not good. That might push that person over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hear it all the time. I mean, Dr. Johnson's giving me about, he's only been in the manosphere like, couple of years, man. He's got like 7 or 8 stories just like that. So they talk about one person that nobody knew about that we failed to help, or we caused, and not mention I don't how many other brothers out there that don't ever say anything that we keep them from going nuts. Because that's that's the first thing I hear all the time. Why do you listen? Because it helps me from going nuts. Okay, because I felt that I had nothing else to go by. But the thing is, I felt that I was alone, and that's the biggest thing. Is that what the manosphere does is basically get brothers together that say, okay, what I'm going through is not unusual. Okay, the chick's tripping, my baby mama or my ex-wife or whatever level of relationship you have with black women, and not just black women, but also the broader society. That I'm not crazy, okay, and I'm not alone because more people than I thought actually go through it from various classes, and not just a dude that's poor sleeping in his car, but also the people that making 6 figures, mid 6 figures. Some of them they go, we all going through similar things, and I think that's the strength of the manosphere, and I think that's why it's attacked.
Yeah, I think a lot of other is like nigga shit. I
Well,
think
that's gonna happen.
yeah, I think that I think that people just love chaos, and it's just they're not willing to let it go because that's all they know, and it's a really sad thing. But
Black folks do love drama.
yeah, but why Skinner? What's going on?
How y'all doing?
Good man. What's up? What you got to share with us tonight?
Um, on that whack thing, can that be positive or negative? Someone saying
WAP?
whack. Is that whack or whack?
I don't know. What are you talking about? The title?
The title, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Kev has to go back to it.
Oh, you talking about when it's black is whack. It's basically a thing centered around how we view something being black as being lower,
Hmm.
even at the subconscious level, and just
That's
cat
negative.
a cat. Yeah, it's negative. It is negative. It's absolutely negative. The using the whole that the young man's suicide to shame a collective of men that are discussing and working through the issues that we face as black men.
Hmm.
Um, that's to me. That's just that's it's BS. Like
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know how to say these things any other way besides what they are. It's total crap, and I think people are garbage for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that we as a people are better than that.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Well, supposedly,
supposedly, well, human beings do that kind of stuff anyway. So, you
yeah,
know, it's not just centered on us as a people. But the thing is that that's the only thing they can come up with. And at the end of the day, you're not going to slow this stuff down because you got too many people that are going through it. So you're not going to slow it down. So,
You
you
know,
know,
some people just never grow up, man. You know, I had a classmate like that. You know, he ended up raping a 6-year-old.
oh Lord, he had issues. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and
That's
that's
we
issues.
we
That's
was
that's
like
something. That's something that's beyond maturity.
he was
yeah,
like he was like 23 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
we all was working. You know, all my other friends,
Mm-hmm.
we all had gotten good jobs, and he wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me for some money one day, and I'm saying, man, when when you gonna get something? When you gonna get a job or something? Well, I'm gonna get something. I'm gonna get something. And then he made the statement, uh, "Can I borrow, such and such amount of money?" I was like, "You don't have no money?" Well, no. I'm waiting for my mama to get home to cash her check.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, when you gonna grow up? And it wasn't like 7, 8, 9 years later,
Mm-hmm.
he raped a 6-year-old.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Well,
You
yeah.
know, I'm
That's
like,
that's that's the person that his mother made.
he did about 13 years. I've
should
been out there long.
should have did more than that. It actually should have did a casket. I don't, I
Yeah.
don't, I don't,
Back
I
in it.
don't, I don't redeem people like that at all. It's
No,
like
but
I'm with getting the help before something like that happens. After you do that, no.
wait. He's lucky. He's lucky that he didn't get a casket because normally, whether you're inside or out, you don't normally make it out when you do something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's lucky.
Yeah, one of the lucky ones, but
One of the lucky ones.
And,
yeah, but
and, and, and got a Facebook page now. Standing
Okay.
on standing on the corner in some iron pants, some creased pants, and
Okay.
shirt with a handbag. Standing on the corner. That's his Facebook page.
With a
Like,
hand, like a lady's handbag.
yeah, some guys wear those handbags. It looks like a woman's bag, but
Oh, okay.
some men wear those. They carry those.
Oh, okay.
But that's his Facebook photo, and it's kind of scary. I'm
yeah,
thinking,
that you is always gonna be in the back of the mind, in the back of your mind. This is a guy that raped a 6-year-old.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, that would probably be the number one thing. Every time I looked at that photo, it's like that's the guy that raped the
yeah,
6-year-old.
When we get rid of shame, that's what happens. Then a guy like that doesn't have any shame. He's gonna have instead of kind of being in the shadows and trying to live out whatever life he has left, he's gonna make himself public.
Yeah,
When you get rid of shame, that's what happens.
just never grew up.
That's not
and
even growing up, man. That's
Yeah,
that's you have a 10-year-old that wouldn't do shit like that. So it's not even growing up.
yeah, not at all. And then like funny you should say the age of 6. That my daughter is 6.
Mm-hmm.
So burn in hell, nigga. Like that's kind
How, how,
that's where I am with it.
how you get how the hell you get access to a 6-year-old though?
he
Oh,
befriended this guy that he knew, and the guy let him spend the night over his house.
Mm. So his
And
father, so the
so
man didn't kill him on the spot.
I think he found out the next day, and he beat him down. He
Okay,
beat
yeah.
he beat he beat him down real bad, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the child told. I guess a 6-year-old can talk pretty good, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. My my
uh,
my, my 6-year-old is a pretty good communicator.
Mm-hmm.
But
she
uh,
told she told it she told it on him, and the daddy just beat him to a plump, man.
Mm.
And then we went to court. His attorney was trying to tell him, man, just tell the judge that you was on drugs or something, as a defense.
That's no, yes, no defense for that.
And he didn't say nothing. He just went ahead and admitted it. So I guess he figured. I don't know if he plea bargained or what.
Yeah, well, he probably didn't want. I think he knew the safest place for him was in prison.
If that was safe,
No, it would compare to being out on the street with his father and his family.
Yeah, because they find out what you did in there. They kind of hard on you in there.
Yeah, that's saying he's lucky.
Yeah,
but the thing is that that's what happens when you take away shame, because there's no way that a guy like him shouldn't be shamed off of Facebook.
I'm surprised they let him get on Facebook. I guess.
I mean, they can't stop him from getting on Facebook.
Do your time, I guess once you do your time, that's it.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that I'm surprised that black people, period, haven't shamed him off of Facebook. Because they come after everybody else. If you come after the manosphere, like the manosphere is doing something, but this guy is on Facebook with a page with a record like that. Come on.
Yeah.
No, supposedly, according to a certain YouTuber, we celebrate people like that.
Okay, really?
Okay. Yeah. It's like the people think of the worst shit they could say about the black manosphere, and then they apply it. Is when they don't have anything else. We celebrate child molestation and rape.
And his proof is.
Yeah. I mean, they don't ever present proof.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because every time you ask me one of these people, it's like, who are these guys that's saying, "Hey, let's go rape these bitches, let's go molest these children"? Let's celebrate something happening to this child. Who are these guys?
Yeah, that stuff has been passed around because certain guys didn't like guys escaping the United States and going someplace, overseas, just like white guys do and other kind of people do, for sex tourism. Okay, they had an issue against black men going for sex tourism, and I'm saying, what's the difference between him paying for it here versus paying for it someplace else? Well, they're going after little. I said, well, so where's your proof? I said, most black men are not attracted to underage children. In fact, they don't even like women that are built like little girls. For the most part, most black men like women on the thick side. So they're not attracted to little children. So that's extremely rare. And I asked him where his proof was. Well, there's no one that did it. I said, you're talking. I said, where's your proof that black guys are actually traveling overseas and actually looking for that? He said, you just don't like them because they're going overseas looking for whatever they're looking for, which I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, and they say that the guys that go overseas, they go over there because the pedo stuff that's over here is legal over there, which is crazy. Man. Like, is just saying anything that they possibly can.
Yeah, which is no proof, but it said because all the people I see, they want women that look like women, that are healthy, and so like I said, where's the proof? Had one guy that wasn't connected with the manosphere, that was mixed, that had his issue in the United States with the same problem, went overseas, and they extradited him back to the United States. He's already in prison. That's the one example that they use. So they try to paint the whole manosphere with that. In fact, once the people that were SYSBM saw that he was doing that kind of stuff, they pushed him to the side and said, we don't rock with that, man.
But they don't talk about that kind of thing. They don't talk about people like us ostracizing people like that. Yeah. Once proof is presented, of course. People just say shit off the top of their heads, and then then it must be true.
Yeah.
Some people. Go ahead.
Because they don't like they don't like the manosphere. They've never liked the manosphere, even though the black manosphere is a very, very tiny part of the manosphere. It's not very big, even though it had been going on like 5 or 6 years before I got into it. When I got here, it was extremely small, very tiny, very small part of the total manosphere. In fact, for the most part. When I first got here, they didn't call the this section of YouTube part of the manosphere. Period. It wasn't part of it. Till the Idmores came over, brought the manosphere with it. because a lot of the Itmores like myself, we were in the MGTOW community, and so when we came over here, we kind of brought the red pill and the manosphere over here with us. So it really wasn't even part of the manosphere until the Itmores really came over.
Oh, okay.
So they really didn't become part of the manosphere like 2014, 2015. Because there's very few people that actually called it that, because they really, and most of the what they call Manosphere 1.0, they didn't call themselves part of the Manosphere.
So is you said Itmore is the one responsible for even bringing the word manosphere to this
Pretty much,
space?
yeah, because the Itmores and some of the POAs, I think Obsidian was part of the MRAs, and they kind of left the white manosphere, the manosphere proper, and came over here to start a more central thing, because in the broader manosphere you can't talk about race, you can't talk about some of the cultural things that apply to you, right? Because it don't apply to most people. Don't well, in fact, a lot of stuff that we have with our women doesn't apply to anybody else. In fact, the ADOS African American community is probably the most unique, unique culture, unique society that on the planet, because everything that applies to us don't necessarily apply to everybody else, even on the continent. It's like we don't know what you guys are on, because you got stuff that you're doing that doesn't, we don't do that kind of stuff. So it is a very unique society. So that's like when we came over here, because we couldn't talk about it over there. So that's when the idea of the Black Manosphere got started, right around 2015, 2016. That's where the name came from. So even then, even now, it's small. It's not. The Black Manosphere is very tiny. It's not. We think it's big because some of the ideas project bigger than the actual number of people that are actually in it.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that the Black Manosphere is small in comparison to a lot of the channels that are
Yeah,
in the overall Manosphere. Like when I
yeah,
when I placed that video in my community tab, I wasn't even aware of his subscriber count. I just looked at the title and listened to it, and then that's where I was like, okay, well, they seem to have their own little set of problems as well, and
yeah.
a lot of these folks act like that the white manosphere is just some superior impenetrable entity or whatever,
Right.
and they're having their own set of stuff. But then when I looked at the subscriber count, I was like, God,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's not alone. There's
jeez.
there's guys out there with almost 1 million. It's they're not alone.
Wow.
Because really, and we have dating coaches, but we don't have pickup artists in the Black Manosphere. Okay, the anybody's a pickup artist, if they're worth their salt, they're gonna cross over. Like I would say, like Donovan Sharp he's not really a pickup artist, but he's sort of like that. Um, Coach Greg is sort of like that, even though Coach Greg is basically Coach Greg. He don't call himself that, but he's Coach Greg is an Ibmore. Coach Greg is a MGTOW, because all the stuff he espouses is Ibmore and MGTOW talking points. Yeah, right down the line, everything that Coach Greg talks about comes from Ibmore and MGTOW. He just doesn't say it because he doesn't use it, because it doesn't make money, and it doesn't do well for your algorithm on YouTube, because you put MGTOW, Ibmore, SYSBM. If any of that stuff goes into on your tags or into your title, YouTube is actually automatically going to start put a flag on it. It might be severe. It might not be severe, but you won't get your notifications going out. You're going to get kind of shadow banned, all that kind of stuff. So
what does that mean? That
what? Men going their own way. In fact, it's an offshoot of the men's right movement,
Oh.
because if men's right movement is like Martin Luther King, MGTOW's like Malcolm X. So most people in the Black Manosphere don't even know about MGTOW.
Well,
And most people in the red community, most Black people, that's how I say it, it's so small and so scattered amongst Black folks. Most people don't even know about it. Like, I don't know, what did you find about the Black Manosphere and the red pill, Kev?
When I found out about the black manosphere and the red pill, I came here, and shortly after, I started dealing with the Negro manosphere.
Oh,
With
with
O'Shea.
O'Shea, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but I thought that was just like O'Shea's thing, and
Mm,
his
hmm.
thing with his people, and Black Manosphere really had not been introduced as a term to me until I started hearing Edward Anderson speak.
Okay.
Yeah, that he started introducing the Black Manosphere and explaining like a lot of the history that is involved, and I'm learning stuff about it like every day.
Yeah.
As far as being welcome to the Black Manosphere, I would attribute that to Edward Anderson, and I would say you.
Hmm.
So I do appreciate being part of the space, but I also hate seeing the space get attacked for bullshit reasons.
It's good. Well, that's always happened, and it's sometimes it gets better, sometimes it gets worse. And I think the only problem with Kevin Samuels breaking out is going to bring people that have no clue about what the Black Manosphere is. They're going to get introduced to it, and then you're going to get more people come in, and so you're going to get a fresh round of people coming in to attack
Yeah.
you.
So I had never heard of it. Uh, I just been on YouTube like about a year,
Okay.
and
So
Yeah,
so what so
ever
what
since
brought you here? So what brought you here?
I got on YouTube once, and I was listening to Chronicles of Judah 144.
Okay.
You familiar with him?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, yeah. And man, the guy was really sharp in what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started looking at some of the other channels,
Mm-hmm.
some of these other guys. I'm like, man, this is pretty interesting. And then that's when I started hearing more about the manosphere, and I just started going from channel to channel.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, after a year, um, I've, I wouldn't say I know these people, but I've listened to them,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the women too. And I enjoy what they talk about. Uh, I was this feminist thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it existed.
Feminism?
I didn't.
You well,
I,
you
I,
were
I
raised in it. How could you not know about it? Well,
well,
they probably don't talk about it that much because they don't need to because um, all the concepts are built into the education. I mean, what's your age if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 66.
Oh, you had to hear about it, man. The '60s and '70s.
Well, the only thing I heard was the feminist movement. But as
Yeah,
far
that's
as
that's feminism.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, feminist movement.
You thought it went away?
Uh, I guess
I
I
mean,
just
you
this
never heard of, you heard of Me Too?
yeah, here lately. The Me Too movement that hadn't been around that long.
Hmm?
The
I
Me
know it,
Too.
but yeah, but well, actually it has, but it's been around since really since 2011. It actually has, but it's mainly been on the college campuses. It didn't make the well. Bill Cosby. How long Bill Cosby in prison? Now was it 3 4 years?
But something like that. Three, four,
Yeah,
5 years he been in. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
it's
yeah. That's
been
kind of when I started hearing about the Me Too movement.
yeah,
And I say
yeah.
listening to Chronicles of Judah,
Hmm.
he brought a lot of that stuff out. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I'm a baby boomer, but I was married for 30 years,
Hmm.
and all this stuff about black women,
Hmm.
we didn't have that problem.
It was
No,
controlled. We had it. We had it. It's just controlled.
you
But
my age?
no, well, black women have never been okay. I don't know. I'm assuming you've been married to a black woman.
Yes.
Okay. So have you ever dated outside your race?
No.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't know because that's all you know. So
Yeah.
it's like asking a fish what's water. You
Yeah.
don't know.
And all my friends' wives,
Hmm.
man, we never had the problem that I'm hearing the black men have with black women today. It just they just it's like I got married in 1980
Okay.
at the age of
And
20, at the age of
so,
25.
so it was just starting.
Oh, it was just starting.
It was just starting. Yeah. We 1980 at the age of 25. What part of the country do you live in, or were you raised in?
Dallas.
Dallas is a little different because Dallas is a little behind because that's where I was born. I guess still got cousins there, and the South, the South is a little further behind. Uh, if you were in Los Angeles during the 1980s, especially during the crack era, you'd have seen it on fleek. Exactly what's happened to the black community. And I'm sure it got to Dallas too. So in the black community.
But I mean, our women back in 1980,
Mm-hmm.
when I got married and all my friends got married, I mean, our women respected us to the utmost, man.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you had roles. Okay. Back then, they were still, especially down south, they were still training women to be wives. So basically, women had duties. Because my mother's from Shreveport, my father's from Dallas. Okay. And
Hmm.
women knew their roles, and and
Right.
slowly but surely they stopped teaching women how to be wives. So I'm sure, I don't know, do you have children and grandchildren?
Yeah, I have a son and a stepson. I don't have any grandchildren.
Okay.
My
Um,
my
I don't know
biological son is 40.
how old is your son?
My biological son is 40. My stepson
Okay.
is 50.
Okay. Oh, okay. They're a little further along. I was gonna say if they're like under 35, you would see it. Okay. I'm probably you probably go in the stores right now and see all the mixing that's going on even in Dallas, especially with black men and Latinas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this
You
is
see
this.
it more now.
Yeah, you
Uh-huh.
see it more now. Yeah. So the
Uh-huh.
thing is, this has been going on.
And
The
see, I
saying
met
is,
her. I met my wife in like 77,
yeah,
and she's Christian girl,
yeah.
and so and a lot of her friends were, and they worked though. They wanted to work, of
Well,
course.
black women have always worked, man. Black women. I don't know
Well,
if you ever talked to the old folks when they had the sharecrop.
well, my mom didn't.
Uh, Your mom sharecropped.
She didn't. She really didn't work.
Okay.
She worked like 2 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a black community,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom and all of the women in the black community, her
Mm-hmm.
friends, they
Mm-hmm.
only worked like 2 days out of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And the dads, they worked 12, 13, 14 hours,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes two jobs.
Yeah.
So they was pretty much stay at home moms. This is you're talking about early 60s.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Back then you could do that. Okay. But thing is, 70s, everything changed.
Yeah,
Early.
inflation kicked in the 70s, and women had to go to work.
That's part of it. That's part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. We
things
really,
just
really wasn't inflation. Really, was what we called the official term is austerity measures. Like, can you tell the austerity measures when your interest rates, your currency
right,
goes down, interest rate
right.
goes up.
Yeah,
But
Jimmy
then
Carter got in, and the interest rates flew up to like
well,
7.
basically it started going up with Nixon. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
And then then the only way to get a handle on your well, it's probably way more technical. It's kind of outside the scope. But I just say the only way to get a handle on your currency and get it back valued is basically raise the interest rates. You remember around in 1980 when the interest rates were, if you want to buy something like 22, 23%.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I bought a house, and right after I got married, we got married in 81, 80,
Mm-hmm.
80, almost 82. It may have been. And
Mm-hmm.
the interest rates was like
They peaked. Yeah.
18% on the
Yeah.
mortgage. So we had to get an adjustable rate mortgage
Yeah.
to get into the house that we was
Yeah, to
trying
get in the house. Yeah, that was and the interest rates that started going down because I think they peaked in like 1982, and then
Yeah,
what the
then they started coming down.
yeah, because Ronald Reagan actually used the Social Security Trust Fund. I think it was like $4 trillion to actually supplement the borrowed it to actually supplement the Fed to bring the interest rates down. But yeah, but we getting way off the topic though.
Yeah, we are. I can
Getting
talk
way off
about
the
that.
topic. Yeah,
Oh,
we get way off the topic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
So
mean,
get us back on. Get us back on, Kev.
well, when it's black is whack. That's what the topic is, and I think that's a lot. I think that's really a statement to the you know. Go ahead.
When it's black men is whack.
Yeah, I've tried to find a way to say that.
Yeah, well, hey, just say it. When it's black men is whack because black girl magic works all day long.
Oh yeah, if you want to call it magic, but that's cool. But
That's what they call it. It may or may not be, but that's what they call it.
yeah, and I think that you did bring up a good point. Like we are kind of that Roger says all the time. We're raised in white supremacy. That's why we run into a lot of the problems now. As far as this space goes, yeah, I've been
Mhm.
watching black men in this space for a while. I used to watch Tommy. Um, Tommy was funny to me.
He is funny.
Yeah, even though he did say a lot of strong stuff. I mean, the one thing I would tell people all the time on social media was that Tommy, if you want to defeat Tommy, you're going to have to debunk what he says and not
Mhm.
and not go at it emotionally. And then I would usually get told things like, "Well, why don't you just go suck his dick then?" I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, let me
Mhm.
leave this."
Well, that sounds like a white. That sounds like a black woman.
Yeah, yeah, So I was just like, well, let me just leave this conversation alone
Mhm.
because they
Mhm.
try to pull you into an argument easily.
Mhm.
And then,
Mhm.
like around like 2015, it was O'Shea, it was Professor Black Truth.
Mhm.
There was this other guy called the Reluctant Nobby. Now he was,
He's still around.
yeah,
They killed a few of his channels, but he's still around.
yeah. They were killing his channels left and right.
Mhm.
But he was a savage. um, who else used to watch? I used to catch some of Cynthia G
Oh gosh.
before she went completely cuckoo.
Well, we had a little part to do in that, but yeah,
Yeah.
we,
So
she kind of went overboard, and yeah. In fact, everybody still talks about the video I did on her
yeah,
the kick rocks video.
Kid Rock's video. Yeah,
Yep.
I have to find that one. Is it still up?
It's still up. In fact, somebody was saying that was their favorite video of mine. I forget. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. It's got a little a little what do you call it? A puffin. There's a bird kicking rocks. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, but the next person I heard after all of that was Obsidian.
Okay.
I heard of Obsidian because I had started that Facebook group back in April of 2017 called Black Men Being Brutally Honest with Everyone. And what I did discover when I went back and searched the group was a lot of you guys' videos were being posted in that group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yourself included. Um, Obsidian actually did a video on a post that was in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So indirectly, I had already been involved with the Black Manosphere. Indirectly, without even knowing what it was, because a lot of people who frequented Black Manosphere and like chats and watch the videos, even like a lot of people who are in the space in Black YouTube, even a lot of the haters, they pass through that group. I'm gonna give you a name of someone who was a huge member of the group till he got a huge YouTube channel. Darius MGTOW. He was in the group making posts all the time, but I guess his YouTube channel took off and he disappeared into that. But yeah, I remember Darius quite vividly, saying just about the same things that he was saying on these YouTube videos. Yeah, but that's and then when Facebook really is like and I say this with the utmost professionalism, it's becoming a moron farm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you can just type any thought that you have, and you'll have, if people agree with it, they, no matter how stupid it is, they'll validate it, and people are on this. And really, honestly, I'm gonna say Facebook is really not a place for Black men anymore. At least thinking critical Black men.
I don't think it ever was.
Yeah, it doesn't seem.
I always thought Facebook was always a female's medium.
Yeah.
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 I mean, the level of symmetry that goes on Facebook is phenomenal, to say the least. So once I realized that, then February 2018, I started this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really got on YouTube to really, talk about the issues that obviously are being brought to social media. I wanted to do some news stories too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I'll put the Sinji video link in the back chat.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And basically, I wanted to do what a lot of other people were doing, was like make fun of Simpson and make sense of why all these women are so bitter. So it was, and yeah, but in doing this YouTube channel,
Mhm.
I want to do a little bit more than that. I do, and I feel like it's an opportunity to influence, if not that many people, but a small collective. Then maybe I can put out a word that'll spread.
Yeah, basically what I came on here is basically to start to decipher this stuff and break this stuff down and find out where the roots came from and why we're in this mess, and if we can kind of break this stuff apart, because a lot of stuff we do is unconscious. A lot of stuff women do and say is unconscious, and they all they know is that their great grandma did it, the grandma did it, the mama did it, and now they're doing it. They don't even know why, because they've forgotten why. And same thing with the guys. I hear a lot of guys they come in with female talking points. Okay, like guys brag about how many women they can slay and how many women they can and that makes them better than any other man. I said, okay, you basically where you get that from? I said, you've been trained to be a concubine, because no other group of men puts that much emphasis on how many women they can slay, except black men.
Yeah,
Some
like
guys think makes you a better man when you.
Yes, yeah, it makes them think you think you're a better man. You can be, you can be virtually homeless sleeping on a couch. But the thing is, if I can slay like 30 women a year, then I'm better than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Or if I can, I sleep with a rich man's wife, that makes me better than him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's, I said, but the thing is that we're raised to think, we take our opinions from our mothers, unfortunately. Or our worldview as a man. In fact, women say that. I've heard women feminists say we need to remake black the meaning of black masculinity. And I'm thinking, you're not a man. You can't tell another man what a man should be. It's not your job. But they think it's their right and their duty to reshape black men. They do.
oh my God! Like they repeatedly say things like,
Mm-hmm.
"Black men should be talking about this,"
Mm-hmm.
or "Black men should be talking about that,"
Mm-hmm.
or "A real man would." A real man would is like one of my favorites, because it's never, when they say a real man would, it's never to the benefit of the man
No,
himself. It's
no.
always to their benefit.
Yeah, that's why Doctor.
Like a real man would take care of these kids.
Mm-hmm. Or real man will blow out my back, take care of these kids, wife up single mothers, protect me in the streets, all kind of stuff. That what is well, what a man is never centered on a man. It's always centered on his service to women and children.
And don't even get that so twisted. Not even children so much.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, if it is about children, it's still to their direct benefit.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah, they had the kids and they need help, so they think that all the men are supposed to rush in and help them.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to. Their definition of lead.
Mm-hmm.
Leading is, playing cleanup men for their mistakes.
Yeah, or basically being responsible for their life
And
choices. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They screw ups.
Yeah, or telling these brothers, or telling these brothers that they shouldn't have got these girls pregnant like that, instead of them saying no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's even embedded in men's psyches. Okay. Even though brothers are paying child support, we're the first ones to tell them, hey, you fell into that trap. Okay, so it is what it is. We can't get you out of it. So you fell into that trap. Now you gotta pay the cost. Just like if you decided to hold up a liquor store. Okay, at some point it doesn't matter about your story. Okay, I was hungry and I didn't have nothing to eat, so it's the only thing I could do. Okay, well, you know what? Held up a liquor store, you got caught. Okay, what do you want us to say? We feel for you, but guess what? It's what you got to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I would never make excuses for a man just because
Yeah,
he's a man, just because he has a
yeah,
penis and
yeah,
he's a man and a man and all that stuff. I'm
yeah,
a man. I don't
yeah,
ever say anything like I'm a man, a black man. You know, you know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah. But a black man cannot create a single mother. Can't because you can't shooting off for that split second is not going to create a single mother. It's the 40 weeks that the woman has to carry that baby.
Oh, that's what creates the single mother.
That's what.
Because
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only way it's
I,
gonna
I,
get here.
I asked a woman. I said, okay. You said so. I said so. A man is responsible for creating a single mother. She said yes. I said okay. Okay. So when does a woman become a mother? Well, I said, is it before or after she gives birth? Well, after she gives birth, of course. Because I said because if the baby dies before she gives birth, she's not a mother, right? It has to be after she gives birth, right? Who's responsible for that baby getting here? Is it the man or the woman? Well, she is. So ergo, who's responsible for a woman being a single mother? She got quiet. You know, you. I said, getting pregnant, okay, is a dual responsibility. Getting pregnant, okay, having a baby is solely responsibility of that woman because the baby can't get here if unless she decides to carry that baby for 40 weeks. I said, getting pregnant is a mistake. Having a baby is a decision because there's no way you're gonna have swollen ankles, throwing up for 40 weeks unless you want this baby to get here. So I said, I'm a father. I see, I've been through the process. That's not an easy process. Okay. You walking around with a swollen belly for 3 or 4, 4 or 5 months after. Okay. Till that baby gets you. And the pain that you got to go through to get that baby here, knowing you got to go through that pain, that's a decision.
yeah,
Um,
facts are stubborn things. You know, you do
Mm-hmm.
have other options:
Mm-hmm.
morning after pill, abortion,
Mm-hmm.
all
Worship.
that stuff.
All that stuff is available. And that's after
mhm,
you make the mistake.
Yeah,
Okay.
mhm.
Because it's like what 30 different forms you can take before.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how long this been going on. Women having babies out of wedlock. It, I mean, it's like
Well,
30,
the
35, 40 years. I mean, why do they
the,
keep doing it?
the penalties aren't as severe, okay, as they used to be. The shame from society and the penalties
Right.
is severe. But I think they changed the law in I think it was 19. You got to go back and check the book. I think it's 1971 and 72, where they changed the law and it went from illegitimate child to out of wedlock. In other words, after that, then a woman and a child born out of wedlock had a legal claim on a father's wealth. Before that, they didn't have it. So basically, they were at the mercy of the state, and state didn't have to give them anything because you had a baby out of wedlock. So before that change, you had to have you had to have a living husband that either abandoned you or divorced you before you can actually make a claim to the state or or to the child supports. And they changed that in the 70s. So they basically legalized baby mamas.
Mm.
Yeah.
My
But
sister,
unfortunately, black women took more advantage of it than the white women did.
my sister was 69. My sister is 69,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a kid. I think it's like 17 or 18.
Mm-hmm.
She had to marry that guy.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in a black neighborhood, and
Mm-hmm.
my daddy went and got him
Mm-hmm.
and made him come to the house and
Mm-hmm.
talk to them and made them get married.
Mm-hmm.
That's how serious it was. It was like
Mm-hmm.
you shaming the community.
Oh, yeah, well, you're shaming the community and you're putting the
You know,
burden of that child onto the family.
Of course, they didn't stay married but 2 or 3 years, but
Yeah.
they made them do it.
Yeah.
That's what it was back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Janet Yellen called. I actually did a video. Janet Yellen says that the end of the shotgun marriage. She actually talked about that. In fact, Janet Yellen used to be the Federal Reserve chairman, but she's an economist, and her husband actually did a book. And one of the essays in that book is about the end of the shotgun marriage. So it wasn't passed for black people. It's actually passed for white women to give white women more freedom since they had birth control, all that kind of stuff. So they ended that forcing women to marry the father of their children. So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was in like the 70s when they, I
Yeah.
think late 60s, early 70s when they
Yeah.
did that. And that so basically they legalized out of wedlock births. Because before then, if you couldn't find that dude, or that dude didn't go out of town, or you didn't make that woman marry the man, the father of their child, then she wasn't going to get anything from that father or the state.
Yeah. Wasn't
And
any child support?
Huh?
Wasn't any child support like in the 70s?
No, you had child support, but the thing is, you had to
They wasn't enforcing it though.
You had it. You had it.
We had it.
Yeah, you had it, but the thing is, you had to have been married to that father to get it. If you had that child out of wedlock, the odds you getting
Oh,
child support was slim and none. And
yeah.
basically back then, the child support was whatever whatever the burden of the state was. So in other words, whatever the state would pay per month for that one child, that's all you had to pay. It wasn't until the 90s, and you probably remember this. It wasn't until the 90s when they changed it that the child support was a percentage of your income. So each child,
Right.
it's a scale. So first
Right.
child will get 25% of your income or something like that, and then it would scale up depending on how many kids you have, and then it would kind of level off. But that's what it went by. But that was in the 90s. Before that, whatever the state paid, that's what you paid.
My wife didn't even put child support on my stepson. When I met her, she was like, "Forget it. He's kind of like in and out of jail."
Mm-hmm.
So she just said, "Forget it. I don't need him."
Yeah, well, yeah, because it wasn't worth it, and she probably wouldn't get very much from him. So whatever child support she get was, back then it wouldn't have been very much. So she said, forget it. Yeah, because unless he had a good job, she wasn't getting very much a month. The $40, $50.
So I guess the women you call women whack
now. WAP? No,
Yeah,
no, WAP. No, what I said WAP or
WAP.
WAP, which is
WAP.
which is that song by Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, it's Cardi B featuring Megan Thee Stallion. Well,
Stallion, yeah.
it's about yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it set off a chain reaction of whole defense. That's one thing I don't understand. Whole defense.
I do. I do. If there's no jobs for women, what do they have to rely on? If there's not enough men to support them and there's no jobs for women, what do they have to rely on?
What they got to get what they want.
Then what they got to get what they want. So you have to destigmatize it.
Yeah, like you got Vice President talking about legalizing prostitution.
You got to. Well, okay, what would you do? One or two things. Either you take care of them on the state, and there's probably too many for you to take care of. You don't have enough men are willing to step up and fill in for these chicks. What would you do?
I have a real problem with that word "step up" because it's like, what are you actually stepping up into?
Well, just like if you step up to go to war, right? You're gonna sacrifice yourself.
Is that the same as leveling up?
No, leveling up is hypergamy. Leveling up means leveling up means you're either going to a higher economic class or higher social class. That's leveling.
Okay, so it's about economics.
Leveling up. Leveling up could be about economics, but it also could be about social class. So you've got okay, I'll give you an example about leveling up, right? You could be a woman could be married to or dating a guy that works for the post office that makes, which guys work for post make pretty good money, about $70,000 a year, $65,000 to $70,000 a year, right? Get one of those guys, or you can get a guy that's making 80 that has a PhD, right? Okay, they make around the same amount of money, right? But the thing is,
Mhm.
one is educated. Okay, one is educated, has a higher social status than the guy working for the post office. Okay, so
So,
it's economic and social.
so that's leveling up by
That's leveling up.
going to the guy that's the PhD.
The PhD, so she
Yeah.
levels up in social status
Oh, okay.
because now she can say, "My husband, the doctor," rather than
Uh,
my husband that throws sacks at the post office, even though they make the same amount of money.
Hmm.
yeah. Okay. All right. I got 53 likes and I got 60 people watching. Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't.
yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, as I'm trying to get back to the whole pregnant, mentality conversation. I
Okay.
used, I used to ask, I used to ask females,
Hmm.
when did you learn during this pregnancy that you were going to be a single mother? When did you learn that? When was this decided? Because you act like he was there all up until the day the baby was born, and then he decided this fucking split. But
Oh my
did you
goodness.
have some kind of plan before you had all this unprotected sex? We're gonna get married. We're gonna have this little living arrangement going. Yeah, we're gonna apply for a house.
Hmm.
When did all of this occur? When did it occur to you that you were going to be a single mother?
You're gonna get two types of answers. One before it depends. Okay, did she is she sober or did she got like 2 or 3 drinks in her? Because if she's sober, you're not gonna get the same story as if she has 2 or 3 drinks in her.
Well, and then the narrative is always the guy left at home. It's like, okay, what if you procreated in the back seat of a car? Is it that he left the home then? There was no home to begin with. If
Hmm.
that makes any sense at all. But I mean, the narrative is that they left the home. So I
Oh
mean,
well, yeah, because okay, if somebody asks you directly about the child's father and you're a single mother, and it's not the most it's not the greatest story, okay, or the most likely story to gender you some kind of sympathy. What are you going to say? You're going to say, no, we were just kicking it, I got pregnant, then I thought about it and I tried to force him to be a father, and he wouldn't. And so to me, that's him abandoning us.
yeah, they're probably not going to say, well, to tell you the honest truth, I just felt the mood and I dropped to my knees and did all this stuff, and he
Hmm.
stuck his penis inside of me, and boom, there it was.
Hmm.
Boom,
Yeah.
it was dynamite. Yeah, they don't tell stories like that.
Yeah, there was somebody had played it. I forget what channel it was on, and he it was an old video where this chick, she became a single mother, and she had that narrative that he just abandoned us and walked off and left us as a single mother, and then as she's telling the story, she was basically a jump off, and he already was living with a woman that had a child and also had a baby's mama. Okay, now had another child by another woman. Okay, and this is well before she got with him, and she still decided to carry. They had been kicking it like 2 or 3 months, and she still decided to carry the child to term, even though she knew this history of this guy. But she expected him to drop everybody else and come be with her.
Yeah, because every woman thinks they got super pussy.
Or that child has a magical hold
Yeah,
on them.
yeah,
It's not even super pussy. If it was super pussy, they wouldn't need the child.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Eddie Griffin explained that on Dr. Dre's the chronic, like
Mhm.
the keep a nigga baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes okay. Sometimes it's keeping niggas. Sometimes it's just in the black community, being a mother has a certain amount of status, and sometimes women want that. Younger women want that status, and they don't really know how much
Wow.
it costs till they actually have a child.
Then
I
it
mean,
turns.
that's
Then
kind
it
of
turns.
stupid.
Hmm?
Yeah, it is kind of. It's not only kind of. but they think it's about, yeah, I want a little baby, I want to rock the little baby.
Mm.
She cute, he cute, whatever.
And
And
they want all their girlfriends to coo over them and their mama to coo over them and treat them special because and sometimes the mothers will treat the daughter differently after she has a child because now I have my grandchild, so they're gonna by osmosis they're gonna get some of that special treatment because now they have a grandchild, whereas before they
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, some of these grandmothers just be celebrating when they have a
Oh
kid.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I mean they just be, oh, I'm gonna have a
Hmm.
grandkid, I'm gonna have a granddaughter, and she ain't
Hmm.
even married, and they just celebrate.
They celebrate. They don't care. Men are just placeholders.
yeah, but when it starts getting expensive, guess what starts to happen? He
Hmm.
need to be over here taking care of his
Mm-hmm,
master.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
LFT.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And in other words, you're supposed whatever decision I make, you're supposed to make it happen.
Mhm.
I would
Say,
think if I was a woman, I'd have like a big condom box on my nightstand with like 100 of them in there or something.
Yeah, well, see, you married. You've been married a long time, man. You ain't been around enough of them.
he should have wore he should have wore a condom.
Most because of the laws, because of child support, because of draconian laws, black men wear 54% of black men having sex do wear condoms if they're not married. Okay, or they
Yeah,
do. In other words, black men use condoms most. Guess who use birth control the least?
women do.
Black women,
Black.
overwhelmingly.
Wow.
Which is why the abortion rate for black women is so high
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
they don't use birth control or any kind of birth control
Yeah.
form up
Yeah.
front.
Yeah. I saw the statistics on that, man.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just like it's unreal, man. How they killing babies.
Well, the thing is that, they say that they don't believe in it and stuff like that, which is untrue. Well, black women say a lot of stuff out of their mouths is not true. Black women lie. I don't know. Is it lie? It was a lot. Black women lie in two forms: omission and commission. Okay. Now, sometimes they know that they're lying. They'll lie and do something else, and sometimes it just admit it. Just omit the truth.
Sometimes I think they don't even know that they're lying. They lied
Oh yeah,
so
they do.
much.
Oh yeah,
They
they do.
lied so much to
Oh no,
like they
they
just
know.
start lying and
Oh no,
just
they do. They know they do because what's how come Kevin Samuels can catch him all the time? Okay, well, are you married? No. All right. Well, I've been engaged twice, and he break them down. Okay, and
yeah.
find out they weren't. They're just embarrassed. Okay, Black women don't like to be shamed. They don't like to be or feel guilty. So they will lie not to do that. So no, black women will. They will. They'd rather lie not to be shamed. But the thing is, even though their actions, they don't take into account their actions is going to bring them into shame. So basically, having a kid out of wedlock is really not that big a deal in the black community. Even though we call them bastard baby makers, ain't gonna do any good because they don't feel no shame. They're gonna do it anyway.
We need to
And
bring
then
shame back. That's
and
why
then
we need shame back. We need it back.
Well, now
you in the Bible Belt. You in Dallas, man. You know that kind of shame don't exist no more.
and also we like a couple weeks ago I said we kind of live in kind of this blue pillish world
Mm-hmm.
to where is like we are going like the blame does subsequently fall on the man.
Mm-hmm.
Just for performing an act that two adults supposedly participated in.
Mm-hmm.
So that rings true. That
Yeah.
rings true. That's why they're so loose with it because nobody's telling them to stop. Even when it's other women, when other women tell them to stop, then those other women get attacked viciously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Black women do not like to be shamed. The thing is, the fallback is always black men. Well, fallback in America is blame black men for something. If white people are beating up Asians, they're gonna blame black people for Asian hate. And then they don't mean women; they mean black men. Black men are the scapegoat for everybody. So why not dump it on them? Nobody's gonna not believe them. So if you put black men in, oh yeah, well we know he did it.
Let me ask you two guys. Y'all seem to be pretty knowledgeable. It's kind of changing the subject a little bit, but uh, with all the riots and things going on, like in California or like in
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, how things were really, how the racism was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Dallas, we didn't have any riots.
Okay.
So why is that?
Texas
We,
is a little different. Yeah, Texas is more of a law and order state, and if people only riot when they're uncomfortable, people just don't riot to riot. People will riot when they're uncomfortable.
Texas is one of those kind of states anyway, isn't it? Kind of, they kind of crazy with that shit.
we never
What
had riots here.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, I mean, look, I grew up in the '60s,
Okay.
we nothing was ever burned down here in Dallas, really. I mean, it may have been a couple of little things, maybe a few,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't have the problems seem like that. Alabama, Mississippi, and those states had.
Hello, Alabama. I wouldn't even say that we had riots. I would
No
say that we had protests
protest. Yeah.
that were protesters were being viciously attacked.
Attacked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, there
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't. You couldn't say they were riots.
Yeah.
Was
We
it
did.
like hangings, more hangings, you would say?
Well, you're talking about lynchings at this.
Lynching.
Yeah, right.
That's far.
They
That's a
did.
far cry from a riot.
They didn't. They don't. There was the Dallas police actually deal with black folks a little differently. Okay, they're not quite as you know. They're not nice people, but the thing is, they're not quite as vicious as some other police forces. So
Yeah,
Dallas is,
that's what I was talking
yeah,
about. Yeah,
yeah, they're not as quite as vicious as some other southern states, like in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, even
yeah,
Louisiana. So and even other part, you go to now Dallas because Dallas has been like a not a majority black city, but it's been a pretty good number of black people in Dallas. But you go to other places that are outside of Dallas, in different parts of Texas, you're going to find a different environment. Okay, you'll find a different environment about you being outside of certain
yeah.
parts of the. Uh, I think it was at Dallas, maybe parts of Austin and Houston, but any other places in
Those
Texas?
small time, those
Oh
small,
yeah, oh
small.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
You're gonna have issues.
yeah.
Yeah, I was a little kid in his '60s, early '60s in Dallas. And the Dallas police are, which is why I'm in Los Angeles, because there's, you cut up in Dallas, they might not lynch you, but they're gonna say you need to find someplace else to live, which is what happened to my father.
Is he still living?
Yeah, he recently just died, but he was 84.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
so
mom's 95. She's still living.
Oh, that's good. My grandmother passed away at 96, and she was as coherent as can be until like the last 6 months of her life. So
mm,
she was a pretty strong lady. Both of my parents are still living. You know that. My dad actually just he's in maintenance treatments after going into remission for cancer.
hmm
So still lucky to have them around.
How
Uh,
old is he?
he's let's see, it's like 75, 75.
mm,
Yes,
mm.
75.
They cut from
Yeah,
a different cloth, man. I tell you.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
But Dallas Dallas has done a good job of pacifying people, and also and they have customs. So Dallas is not quite like an Alabama or one or more of the urban cities. Even though they've had protests, recently.
Yeah, yeah. We've
Yeah,
had some, with the George Floyd thing and
yeah,
Trayvon
yeah.
Martin.
You
Yeah,
protests. Oh, well, yeah,
we had
yeah.
some
You had the guy that was went on a rampage shooting police.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you've had protests. It's
yeah.
just it hasn't been uh, extreme, but I think in Dallas, black folks and white folks have this agreement. You know, so basically, they in Dallas they try not to step on each other's toes. I think Atlanta is like that too, or at least it used to be. where black folks and white folks that kind of have their own little place and have their own agreement.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. That doesn't really look like there's too much tension.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, y'all be over here, we be over there, and that'd be pretty much it. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but what was that kid that died? Kendrick Perkins. Let me see. I just want to get his name right.
I know Kendrick Perkins used to as a basketball player.
Wait, Kendrick Johnson. My
Okay.
apologies to his family. Kendrick Johnson, the kid that was found dead, rolled up in the mat.
Okay.
Now, that was in one of those small towns that was like on the outside of Atlanta.
Yeah, a
And
suburb. Yeah.
yeah, and but in that instance, the father, I think, was like the head of the investigation
Mm-hmm.
that cleared his sons, and like
Wow.
nobody said shit. But
Mm-hmm.
speaking with a young lady that was from that area, they said that everybody in that town knew they were guilty.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's still sad that there are some instances that are like that.
Oh, yeah.
But for the most part, it isn't like it, especially like in the Atlanta area. It's not no real race type of deal going on. Pretty much, people like Atlanta is a city that's dominated by black, so
Mm-hmm.
there's not going to be those kinds of problems. And but the rest of the state, I can't really speak. I hear there's still some parts of the state that some of us still can't walk through.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Not facing.
Really?
Yeah, there's still
Yeah.
sundown hell. There's still places in California where you're gonna get rousted if you walk through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a while back in the movie Straight Outta Compton in Torrance. That's one of those places that if you're not driving to the mall, you better not be walking through Torrance. It's not like that anymore, but back then, 30 years ago, oh hell yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like our Highland Park.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's areas. There's always going to be areas, and everybody knows what those areas are, which is why I never wanted to move back to Texas.
One thing about down here, we've always had jobs. There's always jobs, man. If you couldn't work here, you can't work nowhere. If you can't get no job. We always had jobs for people.
Yeah. Dallas is a different spot. Just like Dallas is. You would think Texas is pretty much the same, but there's a big difference between North Texas and Southern Texas.
Yeah.
Because Houston is nothing like Dallas.
It's so many more people than Houston.
Yeah, there is, but Houston laid out differently. Houston has more black people. It's further south. It's closer to the Mexican border. That's all that stuff that goes in.
Yeah, it's sitting right on the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's crowded down there.
No, it is now, yeah, because it's Houston is booming as far as employment, so that's how people are flocking. I think same thing's going to starting to happen in Austin because all the tech is headed that way.
Mm-hmm.
But so if this keeps up, and then a lot of the old guard is dying out as far as white people, because it's going to flip, man. Probably sooner than 20 years. Because I was looking at the stats, it said white folks is declining far more rapidly than people think.
What you think gonna happen in California?
As far as what?
As far as from what I'm hearing, a lot of companies are leaving. People are leaving,
they're leaving. They're leaving. They're leaving because of the cost of real estate, and basically since COVID and people are working remotely, what's happening is a lot of these jobs are spreading out, which they should have in the first place. like New York, but um, like say California is the richest state in the union by far. So but it's also the most expensive state in the union.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people that can't afford to live here are moving. Like
Yeah,
just
they
had a
move.
neighbor his granddaughter just moved to Las Vegas because they couldn't afford to get a place here.
Right.
So it is what it is. It's just expensive.
I heard it's expensive up there.
Oh yeah, very.
All
So
right, all right. For those of you who watch UFC, Israel Adesanya just lost.
okay.
Shit. I just said that he was going to destroy that guy, and he didn't. He got outclassed. He is the guy's ground game. Like I was kind of like peeking in on the stream on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was streaming the fight. So yeah, the guy's ground game was kind of strong. So he kept taking Israel Adesanya down. Israel Adesanya is a striker.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that he need to probably start working on his wrestling and his
Mm-hmm.
submission game, because like that's his first loss. He had to eat a loss tonight, and I
Yeah.
don't like when fighters like that lose. I just don't, because I don't feel like they ever come back the same. Like Anderson Silva, when he lost, he wasn't the same after that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that once somebody finds your Achilles heel, everybody's going to study it. Just like in any sport, football, basketball, whatever. You try to cover up your weaknesses, and you keep rolling until somebody finds a way to beat you. And once they find a way to beat you, that becomes a recipe. All they got to do is replicate it. If we attack him here, he's going to lose. Or this is his weak spot, and they're going to study it. So unless you get it back into the gym and um, find cover that weakness up by either getting better or finding a new tactic, they're gonna keep using it.
Yeah, but yeah, the fighter that I really don't want to see go down is
Mm-hmm.
John Jones. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
John Jones is my guy.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bones. So,
Mm-hmm.
he transitioned into heavyweight, so we'll see what comes of that.
Mm-hmm.
But guy's a natural fighter. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so we'll see. But anyway, guys, I'm trying to wait for Donnie to come back. He said he was gonna come back, but I don't know. But probably gonna go ahead and end it right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Final statements, gentlemen.
Now I would say, my final statement is this. I always try to make sure that the content creator gets supported. When I'm on, so I know people come in and listen to me. So if I'm on, I always say, hey. Um, if I believe in this content creator enough to be on here for this long, I think he needs support. So Cash App, whatever it is, because this being a content creator is not easy. People think it is until you actually get into it and find out exactly how much work it actually is. Even to actually go on StreamYards and hit a button, it's not that easy. So if you can, I'm not saying that you must. If you can't, you can't. The thing is, if you want to see content creators grow, because that's how they grow, and he's going to go ahead and contribute. So it's Cash App or or super chat or whatever you can do. So I just want to say that as my closing statement.
Okay.
Enjoyed it again tonight. The host.
I came back and y'all was playing Boys to Men. What's going on?
The
Playing
host, the
Boys to
host,
Me.
the host makes me go to, that channel.
Okay, Boys to Men. Okay.
But enjoyed you guys, and I'm gonna get on out of here.
All right.
All right, Y Skinner. Shoot, like I say, you're always welcome, brother. You've been pretty respectful, so you're cool with us. So, all right,
Appreciate it.
Donnie.
What's up? I had to enjoy that fight. I'm a little disappointed, but
Yeah, me too.
you know it is what it is. Adesanya came in real gyno, which for those who don't know, it's a side effect of taking testosterone or steroids, whatever you want to call it. He ended up getting gynecomastia, and he tried to fix it, but you can see it was still visible. So I'm a little disappointed in that. But he had a good technical game, and he just lost on points.
Mm. Yeah. I was kind of peeking in on the fight. Somebody was streaming it on Facebook. I was like, "What? Huh? Somebody streaming it. So, yeah, I saw that. Guy had a good ground game. So, credit where credit is due. Adesanya just got outclassed, but I do enjoy watching Adesanya as a fighter. But Derek Lewis and John Jones, those are my two heroes also. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing John Jones seeing what he can do as a heavyweight. And then Derek Lewis, dude, a beast. If you know anything about Derek Lewis, the only thing about Derek Lewis was I wasn't too pleased with the him and Francis Ngannou fight. I mean, if you did you happen to see that one, Donnie?
Yeah, I did. So you're still a fan of John Jones, huh? John Jones is an exciting fighter. My thing is, as somebody who's actually been in the ring and actually fought, I just don't. I have little to no respect for people who habitually use steroids. And I can get on my little soapbox about it, but he's the dude is a talented dude. You steroids isn't some magical thing that you can take and it just makes you the best of the best. But it's too many times he's been caught with just he been caught. I just have little to no respect to the dude.
Oh, okay. Oh, so those steroids that he was using.
Right. So
Well, he was using PEDs anyway. So I mean,
yeah. So
and,
steroids
and, and that does kind of taint his victory against Cormier.
not just Cormier. That I think his victory against Cormier was the third or fourth time, and in the fight against the tall Viking dude, he got caught with cocaine in the system, didn't he? That he has no respect for sport.
Oh, you say the Viking dude? You talking about Gustafson?
Yeah. He got caught with cocaine in the system. Apparently, he was in Brazil living his best life, is what the story is. But OG boxing fans know that they used to dose you with a little bit of cocaine so that you would you wouldn't feel no pain, you'd be fearless, and you would get in that ring and do some domination type shit.
Yeah. So what of Adesanya? You think he's gonna come back stronger than ever? He can come back on his A game, try to restore himself, or do you think that the fact that he was undefeated is going to bring him down a notch?
Um, yeah, 20 fights, all undefeated. Sorry, yeah, 20 fights, all undefeated. Um, Typically, what happens in this situation is one of two things happen. It destroys your ego and destroys you, or it destroys your ego and you train harder. Um, one of those two things could happen in the situation. He could come back stronger than ever. However, that man came out with puffy nipples tonight. So again, it's not certain. Maybe he could actually have a medical issue, but that man came out with puffy nipples, and puffy nipples is a sign of gynecomastia, which is testosterone abuse, steroid abuse. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, Adesanya, if that is the case, Adesanya is too talented a fighter to even do something like that.
Yeah.
So
What ends up happening is a lot of fighters will they don't necessarily juice in the ring, right? What they do is they use it for their quote unquote air quotes. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing little fingers and whatnot for the recovery prior to the fight, which is the same thing in my opinion. Uh, Testosterone helps you. It helps you have more training days. You can train a little bit harder. You can get more activity in, so you get more hours of training preparing you for the fight. However, again, you're using illegal substances. Whether he cut it out 6 weeks before the fight, a month before the fight, whatever, it's still cheating. So me just seeing that I'm just less of a fan of the man. Like I was a major fan until I watched that man walk out, and I was like, does this nigga have puffy nipples? And nobody said anything, so we just supposed to ignore this. So yeah, I'm less of a fan of the man.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm sure drug tests will bring it out, or if such is the case. Now, now I'm a answer hybrid impact 83's question as best as I can, and then I'm gonna go with my final statement. Just kind of stick around, Danny. Um,
Go for it.
yeah, hybrid impact 83 says, "Who has more power, Francis or Lewis?" Basically, talk about Francis Ngannou or Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis has Derek Lewis has surprising power, but from the displays I've seen, I'd probably say Francis Ngannou has a little bit more. But just seeing them two fight each other, I can't even tell you really who's the better fighter. Like, it's just that when they got in the octagon with each other, they act like they was afraid to fight. I don't know what that was, but if I could pick one, definitely I would pick Francis Ngannou, even though I do feel like Derek Lewis is very talented. Uh, but Derek Lewis, he got them haymakers too now. Like he didn't call a few people, but anyway, shout out to the black fighters in the UFC. But go ahead and close out with this. It's like, okay, say I was a YouTuber and I went after people, you know, but the way Kev would do things is Kev would actually use your talking points against you. Kev would use you to destroy you. Kev wouldn't lie. Kev would not slander. Kev would not exploit people's deaths. That would not use issues that need to be addressed in our community, such as child molestation, pedophilia, rape. Things such as that. You know, I'm not going to say a bunch of things that without evidence. Basically, I'm not going to say something about you and it's not necessarily true. I'm going to use you to take you down, and everything that I'm going to say is going to be true. This wanting to destroy a black man just because he's a black man that tells the truth, that's weak shit. That is weak sauce. Now, and it should not continue. Although it's kind of like BGS said, this stuff always happens. It goes around in cycles and circles, and it's always going to happen. But here's the thing: you always can call it out as well. And the thing is that we have to do better than this. Even if I was wrong and I've said that we are better than this, when really, if people are willing to go to those lengths, then, no, we're not better than this. At least I am. At least Donnie is. I wouldn't even fuck with Donnie if he was anything like that. To exploit someone's death, just to shame a group of men for telling the truth from their experiences and from their observations. And that can be proven to be fact as well. Oh boy, how we hate facts sometimes. But anyway, here's my message to people who do that, to people who lie, to people who slander, to people who exploits a person's suicide just to shame a group of men who tells the truth and does have somewhat of a following. Stop being a loser. Stop being a fucking loser. That's all I got to say about that. And if anyone feels offended by what I said as far as not doing bullshit like lying, slandering, and exploiting suicide, then it might actually be you I'm talking to. And that says a lot about the kind of person that you are. And one more thing. Let me Harambe was here earlier. Harambe was correct. So if you go back and look at Harambe's comment, yeah, that's it. That's one of the guys I was talking about. And yes, that guy is lame as fuck for that shit. So to that guy and to the other two guys that I was referring to tonight, stop being a fucking loser. Donna, you got something you want to say?
Yeah, was that guy using beta male tactics?
Yes. Yes, exactly. Beta male tactics. Exactly. So anyway, this is Kev, and on behalf of everyone that has come by and shared their thoughts, and just came by for yet another really good conversation. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate the greatest chat on social media, as I like to call you, and um, people can't tell me I'm lying about that. So I just want to let you guys know that. So anyway, long live the habitual line steppers, and I'll see you guys for any given Sunday. Uh, Goodbye for now.